260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live.
Oh, hi.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Fix the camera.
What's wrong with the camera?
Not center.
It's focused too much on me.
Yeah.
That's
that
not
is
really a
big
problem.
Yeah.
problem.
It's
That's
still
a
not
big
center.
problem. Yeah, it needs to go this way more.
Yeah, more on Brian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Too much on Brad.
Stop. Slide that way.
Come on,
All right, so now we're ready to do the pre-show now that the camera's fixed. All right, so it's Monday, it's June 19th. YouTube live chat poll today is, do you believe in any conspiracy theories? Stop leaning toward me, Ryan. What we want to know is do you believe in any conspiracy theories? And then we also want you to comment in the chat.
You guys look like you're about to go to Disney World.
We might be. Wishful thinking. We want to know in chat what your favorite conspiracy theory is. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you believe the conspiracy theory. It's
But
just...
we'd like to know if you do.
Yeah, but
That's
if you
the
do,
poll.
that's cool. That's cool too. Tell us, but we just want to know what your favorite conspiracy theory is. At 125, Rep. Mike Bost is going to join us. He's going to talk to us about his campaign for re-election and how 2024 will be different for Republicans than 2022 was. Wiggins
that's
America.
interesting. Yeah, Wiggins America's Monday Roundup. Got several stories to bring in.
The glue story
they're
really
always,
made me go, oh.
There are some that are just ridiculous, but some that are gonna make you think a little bit too.
Then at 107, Steve Moore is going to come in, and Annie wants to talk to Steve about China, and Blinken's trip over there, and what Blinken has said about the economy of China and the economy of the United States.
I know.
Every time.
I almost when you say Anthony Blinken, I don't. But when he just goes Blinken,
Yeah.
I'm
you
like,
say-
I can't.
Men in tights.
Men in
We
tights.
need to get a good. Is there any good?
I can look.
I
I
haven't
can look.
seen Men in Tights for so long.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch that again. I bet you can't. I bet it's super
Yeah, it's offensive.
cancelable in 2023, which is why it's probably great.
Yeah. There are movies that I've watched that were made in like 2008 that I'm like, oh,
I
wow.
just read on the internet that Eva Longoria, was she the one who played in Desperate Housewives?
Mhm.
Is that the right one? Yes. She was they were talking about a reboot of Desperate Housewives. I watched Desperate Housewives. I thought it was a great show, and I kind of caught into it in the middle of it and started watching it. But she said they could not make that show again, that they would get canceled.
Really?
And I'm like, Eva Longoria knows about cancel culture because
Yeah.
I would have assumed wrongly that she's the canceller, not the canceler.
Well, she was just at the White House with Joe Biden,
Yeah, they had a moment.
and they had a moment.
That's one way of putting
It
it.
was an intimate moment.
Alan Carlos.
So that's the show today. Steve Moore at 107. Then we're going to talk about the poll results at the end of the show. Hannah's going to share the results.
Tune in for the 2 o'clock hour, because
Yeah.
this poll question is going to get
Yeah,
fun.
We're going to have a lot of fun with this. So make sure you get those in there and stick around. We're about ready to go live.
But a lot of dry time. Our high should peak out at 88. Tonight, clear skies, a slow drop through the 80s for evening plans. 65 for the overnight low. Tuesday, sunny and 89. Wednesday, sunny, 89 degrees. Wednesday, the first day of summer, beginning at 9:58 in the morning. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
You remember Satchmo's Bar and Grill. Their owner, Ben Brown, helped lead the fight against Sam Page's lockdown. Mark Cox here. You're going to love this restaurant. Chef-prepared daily lunch and dinner specials. Happy hour 3 to 6, 7 days a week. Weekly specials. Wagyu meatloaf on Monday night. Steak night on Wednesdays for just $10.95 and burger night on Thursdays. Check them out on Facebook or online at satchmosgrill.com at Olive and 141.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and the Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Cut up six-pack rings and reduce your use of plastic to keep it out of waterways and oceans. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
All right. God save the Queen, man.
The real question I have is, why did he just choose one gender? And is there only, how many genders are there? Why didn't he include everybody? Seems like that would have been a really good opportunity. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Monday. The president wrapping up the weekend, or excuse me, the week with God Save the Queen. You've probably heard it a million times by now, but the question remains, why did he say that? I heard it on, I heard it earlier today. It was either on Brian Kilmeade's show or on Outnumbered, I think. But they were talking about the president using the phrase, God Save the Queen. Apparently, that's something that Joe Biden said after the 2016 election as well, out loud somewhere, when they were counting votes for Trump. God Save the Queen. I don't know if he added the man part. Do you really think that this president is in full control of his wits, of himself? And furthermore, the part that matters to the American public, he's the president of the United States. This is not somebody who is, working and a colleague of yours and not really maybe holding up their end of the bargain, and it's kind of slacking, but you care about them, so you kind of just keep moving on, trying to work with them, trying to get stuff done. He's the president of the United States, and he is not well. We've talked about this before. I don't delight in it, and I don't look at the near daily clips that surface and bubble up of things that he said, be it in front of, cable news TV or at a press conference. Oh, he doesn't do those very much. Or an event or a fundraiser. He doesn't have many speaking engagements where something doesn't look incredibly off. Being the president of the United States requires the individual to be extra energetic, extra sharp. This isn't, we're simply asking him, setting the bar for the president of the United States right now, to be present and to not get so lost in his words or in his footsteps that he appears to be in charge of his faculties. And he weekly, for sure, if not more, isn't. So what is the United States supposed to do? There is a 25th Amendment that is supposed to address this issue. We're in election season. I mean, if they were to participate in going through the 25th Amendment, that would, I don't know that you could move directly into a nomination process and a campaign of a new person while you were within your own party, really, looking to remove the guy who's in office. That's why I think that he's going to step down, and I just don't know when. We haven't had a Trump indictment in a while. It's been a moment. Are we expecting any Trump indictments anytime soon? When does Georgia happen?
I think Georgia's supposed to happen in August.
August?
Yeah.
So that'll be the next one. And then the other one is the January 6th one, correct?
Right. Which that one may drop before Georgia, but I think Georgia's the next one on the list.
Trump and Biden are in a virtual tie, if not multiple polls showing that Donald Trump is leading. Here's a question for you, and this is something I did hear from Brian Kilmeade while he was talking. It was about 11:30 today. He made the point, and I haven't really heard anyone say this, although it's not like too deep of a thought, but look at where Donald Trump is polling compared to Joe Biden. Take everything that Donald Trump did from the election, 2020, to now. Just set all of that out of mind, out of sight right now, and look at everything that led up to the election. If you didn't have the body of work that the President Trump had participated in, the way he's carried himself since election night and the day after, what does that polling look like right now from Donald Trump and Joe Biden?
Oh, I think Donald Trump is crushing him.
Crushing.
Yeah. Everything, like, I think people didn't like him. I think they had a bad taste in his mouth. I think COVID in their mouths. I think that COVID was a big kind of issue for a lot of voters in 2020. And they're like, you know what? Let's just try this other guy. But without the stuff that happened after the election, it's a lot easier to look at Donald Trump and go, maybe that wasn't so bad, and we can go back to winning again instead of whatever this guy's doing.
Yeah. The comparison of the two administration to the two individuals as presidents is so stark in difference that it really shows the American people what it looks like when you have a far left progressive administration and what it looks like when you have a conservative. I'm not going to say far right conservative. Would you call Trump far right conservative? Because he was more conservative on abortion, for instance. He was more actively pro-life. Interestingly enough, I think that he, as an administrator, was more pro-life as an administrator than he is as an individual.
I think so.
Isn't that weird? It usually doesn't go that way.
Usually not, but I think he saw an opportunity there to get him into certain elected offices, to get certain wins, and he's willing to put his personal beliefs on hold to get what will get him the win. So at that time, I think he was looking at that and he's going, you know what? Maybe there's something to this, and therefore, because it really doesn't make sense outside of that. If you stop and think about it, why, if he's just not strongly convicted about abortion either way.
He has said going into this next election that he would not be pursuing any federal abortion action.
Right.
And you compare that to Ron DeSantis, and Ron DeSantis has taken aggressive pro-life action in Florida. So you would think that would be coming that would be coming the way with the DeSantis presidency, if we were to have that there would be an investment in trying to make some sort of law, which would be very difficult to do on a federal level. You'd have to have a red wave of a great magnitude in the House, in the Senate, and DeSantis as president in order to be able to do that. But I find it very interesting to compare Donald Trump, the president, versus Donald Trump, the former president, and how the message, to me, this is really the crux of the messaging that the Trump campaign needs to decipher, which is, how do we get people to focus on Trump, the president? The Democrats, and Joe Biden specifically, their entire emphasis on Donald Trump is as Donald Trump, the former guy, TFG. They can't even say his name. It's a thing they like to do. That former guy, where all you think about is Donald Trump, January 6th and on. And maybe even leading up to that with many of the court cases and the court challenges, which ironically the left has participated in the same fashion.
Yeah.
Challenging elections after the elections are over through the legal terms. And I mean, for Donald Trump to go challenge different states, different laws that were passed, and to push back against this is something that has been done by both Republicans and Democrats. And Donald Trump did not win those court cases.
Right.
That's where the Georgia indictment, should it come down in the next few months, that's where it'll be very interesting to see how that is charged, what he's charged with. That phone call between Donald Trump and the Secretary of State, when people will repeat the line, "You just have to find me votes," that is a leftist talking point to cherry pick that quote. I have listened to the entire call, and it's important to listen to the entire call. Donald Trump believed at the time, probably still does, honestly, believed at the time that there were 3, 4, 5 different, it's been a while since I listened to it, but as soon as the phone call was released, I listened to the whole thing. He believed that there were 3, 4, or 5 different ways that the Georgia elections weren't honest. And he said, if you think there's concern A, B, C, and D, he was saying, if you look into A, we're talking about 20,000 votes. If you look into B, we're talking about 8,000 votes. If you look into C, we're talking about 100,000 votes. If you look into D, we're talking about 65,000 votes. And then he says, I don't need you to look into all of these things. I just need you to find me 8,000 votes or whatever it was. I'm making up the numbers right here. What he was saying is, I'm concerned about all of these things. And if you think that A and B are way too difficult and impossible to go back and investigate and prove, look into C and D, because any one of those things, if I just get 8,000 votes or 18,000 votes or whatever it is, that's going to change the direction of the state election. That's where that quote comes from. So you can still think that he's terrible for saying that, but he was not calling the Secretary of State to say, do your job and get me votes. Just manifest them out of thin air. Donald Trump believed, he was being advised as such as well, Donald Trump believed that there were dishonest things taking place in Georgia. There's a lot of Americans who believe that there were dishonest things taking place in Georgia. I don't know what to believe myself. And I believe that the biggest problem with the 2020 election was the fact that so many state legislatures took advantage, and honestly, states went around their state legislatures taking advantage of a COVID pandemic to change voting laws where people would lawfully vote in a way, because that's the parameters that were set up, that I don't think fit into the way that we're supposed to be running our elections, or we're in direct conflict between legislators making the laws about what the state was supposed to do and judges making other decisions that permitted other things. And then after the fact, you go, what do you do? This is how people voted. We're going to do the whole thing over? I think it was chaos. I think that's intentional. I think the chaos was the most important thing to take place so that there was no way to go back and investigate and relitigate things. And because of the pandemic, which was a real thing, the pandemic did happen. People got sick. People died. we took measures to try to protect ourselves and one another, the government said, oh, opportunity, it's knocking. Let's take it as far as we can. And I'm not even just talking about elections. I'm talking about the whole kit and caboodle. So it's the concern I have with the 2020 election is what led up to the election more than what happened on election night. But Donald Trump believed in Georgia that something was afoot, and he was pressuring in the moment the Secretary of State to look into several different issues and to just pick the ones that he felt were that the Secretary of State would have thought were the simplest to investigate. And the Secretary of State said, we had a good election here. Donald Trump, you're wrong. And the Secretary of State in Georgia ended up coming out on the winning end of that conversation, and Donald Trump certainly didn't. And then I would say fast forward 2 years to the midterms, where Donald Trump was very involved in some of the primaries that took place in Georgia, that he was very heavy-handed in the way that Georgia picked candidates in one way or the other. You have the governor there, Governor Kemp, who butted heads with Donald Trump as much as any Republican I can think of. Butted heads with him and pushed back against Donald Trump, was really actually an opponent of Donald Trump. Donald Trump has called him names, has said he's a terrible governor. Kemp comes back and wins in the midterms with emphasis. Georgia changes their voting laws, and more people come out and vote than ever have before. I mean, in the political world, Georgia won that battle against Donald Trump. What happens next with this indictment? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to come out. But in the midst of all the secrecy and all of the things that were taking place behind closed doors, politically and all of that, that causes people to question and fill in the blanks for themselves. That's where conspiracy theories come from. Sometimes conspiracy theories are super fun to think about, and sometimes they're very scary to think about. But that's our YouTube live chat poll today, is just, do you believe in any conspiracy theories? Yes or no? You don't have to tell us what they are, but we'd love to know what your favorite conspiracy theories are. You can leave comments in the YouTube live chat thread and tell us what your favorite ones are, whether you believe in it or not. But make sure you vote in the poll as well. When we come back, Congressman Mike Bost, he's running for re-election for the 12th district in Illinois for the United States Congress. And I'm going to ask him, what has to happen in 2024 in the House or in Congress? Let's set the presidential election aside. What has to happen in the House to make sure that the Republican majority is expanded in the way that we had hoped that it would have been in 2022? Congressman Bost, when we return on the Annie Frey Show. Don't go away.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
One of us gets too drunk and calls about 100 times.
FoleyDentalGroup.com. My daughter is going to the dentist this weekend. We trust Foley Dental Group with our whole family and their dental care. And I'd encourage you to call them as well if you're looking for a dentist that is going to give you a whole health approach to your dental care. They can help assess a wide variety of issues that you might be experiencing. And, if you just need somewhere that you can go that is comfortable, that is top-notch dental care, if you want somewhere you can go that it can help you with special issues you might have, like implants or dentures, maybe sleep-disordered breathing, and the concerns that go along with that, go to FoleyDentalGroup.com. You can call them to schedule an appointment. They're taking new appointments right now. Mention the Annie Frey Show when you call, 618-288-9670, 618-288-9670, and get an appointment scheduled today. You'll be visiting their brand new facility. It is so nice and top-notch and welcoming. Make sure you mention the Annie Frey Show, like I said, when you visit. 618-288-9670, FoleyDentalGroup.com.
This is a message for all St. Louis Metro homeowners. If you want to sell your house, but only the thought of it gives you a headache, Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis has great news for you. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis can help you avoid any headache and will buy your house for cash in as-is condition, and you won't even have to do any repairs, cleaning, or paying any fees. Just call 314-782-8000 for a fast and easy solution and sell your house today. Chris buys all kinds of houses, inherited houses, vacant houses, fixer-uppers, and also beautiful houses. All you need to do is call Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis at 314-782-8000 and let Chris take care of everything for you. Call Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, 314-782-8000 and get the peace of mind you deserve.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
The most exciting jewelry buying opportunity is happening right now at Diamonds Direct. Pick any jewelry item and get up to 5 years special interest financing or take up to $5,000 off right now. Everyone's loving this because you get to design your ring and your payment plan and take advantage of our most flexible options ever. Hurry, this amazing offer ends June 30th. Enjoy financing for up to 5 whole years or get our best ever sales price. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get details, directions, and more at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
This is Dan McLaughlin, inviting you to the 21st Annual Dan McLaughlin Golf Tournament to benefit the Special Education Foundation. This tournament has raised over $5 million, and 100% of the money raised has gone to children with special needs in our community. To sponsor, volunteer, or to play in the event on October 9th at Norwood Hills Country Club, please visit sef-stl.org. I'll see you on October 9th at Norwood Hills Country Club.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Warmer days are coming. Time to schedule your annual AC system check for as little as $15 a month. For any residential or commercial HVAC services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
If you're as thankful to your first responders as we are, then nominate a local department and let us feed them a great meal. Compliments of Grill Master Tony Stone. Mark Cox here. Visit 971talk.com/contests. Help us feed our first responders. You can nominate someone today.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Democrats' answer every time to a fiscal problem is raising taxes. I would not raise taxes on the American people over $160,000. And the reason is this. In my state of New Jersey, a couple making $160,000 is a police officer and a teacher. Do I really think they should be paying higher taxes here? I don't. Look, I think if we give people plenty of time to plan, and I'm talking about raising retirement age for people currently in their 30s and 40s, people who are in their 50s and 60s, they have already passed the time when they could do planning for their retirement, and Social Security has to remain where it is for them.
So there's Chris Christie, and it's interesting to get a Chris Christie clip these days that isn't just about Donald Trump. But what he says there at the beginning, the Democrats' answer to every fiscal problem is to raise taxes. And I always kind of look at New Jersey and Chris Christie's job as governor there as it's very comparative to Illinois in a lot of ways, especially economically. And the thought that a Chris Christie could be elected in Jersey makes me feel like one day in Illinois we could have some common sense back there. Now, that's a Chris Christie Republican. A Republican in New Jersey, that looks a lot different than a Republican in Missouri. We need all kinds. And in Illinois, we have a great conservative representative here from Illinois' 12th district, Congressman Mike Bost, who has announced he is running for re-election in 2024. Welcome back to the show, Congressman. It's good to have you here.
Annie, thanks for having me on again.
Of course.
It's always great to be with you.
I appreciate it. Tell me, just open-ended question here. What kind of hope does Illinois have for a future? The last election was a disaster in Illinois across the board.
Right.
What has to happen?
Well, first off, we've got to put boots on the ground. We've got to make sure that we've got quality candidates. We've got to make sure that our message is delivered, and it is a message that is something that is appealing not only to downstate, but to the suburbs and also to a large part of Chicago. You got to understand that 2/3 of the voters are in Cook County, 2/3 are in the 5 collar counties, and 2/3 are spread out down the rest of the state. And what you have to do is, back when Republicans were winning in the state of Illinois, they were able to keep the collar counties. As a matter of fact, they were solid Republican. And then they were also, you have to be able to win almost every county downstate, and you have to take 17 to 22% as a Republican in Chicago. That's always a challenge for a downstater. But it was, back when remember, whenever I first went in the General Assembly, the Republicans had control of the House, control of the Senate, control of every statewide office. We paid our bills on a 28-day pay cycle. Businesses were booming in the state of Illinois. Businesses were coming to the state of Illinois, and our long-term indebtedness was less than $22 million. Now it's $133 billion. And so we're not the highest indebted state in the nation, but we are the highest per capita. Now, a lot of that was because of borrowing against the pension systems, and it's been a long time straightening that pension system out since then. But Republicans can win, but we have to make sure that we've got to make sure that if somebody's with you 80% of the time, that's the Ronald Reagan thing.
Yeah. I think that Illinois does need to remember that and understand that in Illinois, in order to win, a lot of people feel like it's compromising yourself, but in politics, you do have to compromise with other people. You don't have to compromise your principles or your morals, but you do have to work with other people who may see things differently here and there. But in the majority of the case, go ahead.
Let me tell you, what I quit doing was I quit using the word compromise because our really a lot of the people from the right think compromise is giving up your morals. No, compromise, there are certain things I won't compromise on my pro-life stance. Right. I won't compromise on my Second Amendment stance. Those are the things I'm going to hold, and they know where I'm at. But everything else, you're trying to find common ground, because if you are in the majority and you want to take the majority, you have to govern. You can't just say no to everything. You have to find that common ground and also convince people where you're right, or if they feel you're a little bit right or they're not quite in agreement, find that area where you can turn so that you can, because remember, the Democrats didn't turn this ship 180 degrees overnight. They've been a long time chipping at it. We would love to pick the ship up, turn it 180 degrees, because it does need to go at 180 degrees, but you've got to start riding it 3 degrees, 8 degrees, 10 degrees at a time. Take your wins, run with it, convince more areas that this is what good governance is, and bring more people in to vote your way.
We're speaking with Congressman Mike Bost. He is the representative for Illinois' 12th District in Congress. He's running for re-election in 2024. We watched a lead up to the 2022 midterm election, and people were like, red wave, red tsunami. It was not. No. And you know that as well as anybody else does. You have such a razor-thin majority in the House, and yet a majority, a very valuable majority. What happens in 2024?
Well, here's what we've got to do and make a difference in 2024. Here's why I believe. First off, people have now seen Biden. They know how bad that is, okay? You've got to understand everything that Biden has done, his record on the withdrawal from Afghanistan, our border, all of the list of things, the economy. The list goes on and on. He blows the economy up by spending more money than we have. But so I believe that we're going to see a better way because the top of the ticket is going to be better. And where we lost races, and this is a sad reality, the argument back and forth of the pundits, okay, the pundits that said why we lost in 22. many of them say, oh, well, it was the pro-life issue. No, in very few seats it was that. I think that if you look, because if that was the case, we would not have picked up seats in California and New York. What you do is you realize if you look at each one of those states where you had a very, very close race and a good Republican candidate at the top of the ticket, you gain ground. You gain ground. And where that fell a little short, you lost ground. And so those states we thought we would have waves in, we didn't. And so there's different factors in each race. But we've got to understand that I believe we're going to have a very good candidate at the top of our ticket. Many people know that I already endorsed Trump. But whether it's Trump or just Annie, look at our deep field.
They're so great.
We have unbelievable candidates who are seeking the nomination on the Republican side. What do they have? Nothing. I mean, and it is a case where they got crazy or crazier. So but the hope is we've got to stay focused. Understand it boots on the ground, money raised, advertising our message. Our message is right. It always has been. You and I have talked about that before. You know, when Donald Trump got beat by Biden, the problem wasn't the message; it was a clash in the personality. But I'm going to tell you, somebody that upsets me with a tweet now and again, I sure would like to have that for the fact if I could just have back the good economy, having our enemies fear us, our allies trust us, a controlled and secured border, bringing back home jobs from overseas and creating more jobs and a booming economy. I mean, I would take all that back. And that's why I'm thinking that that's why I know I endorsed Donald Trump.
Congressman Bost with us right now. I mean, you highlighted the key issue here. We were talking about this a little bit in the first segment of my show, that if you compare Donald Trump, the days that he was president versus the days that Joe Biden is president, and you would compare where the polls would be right now, that Donald Trump would be soaring in the polls. He is beating Biden in a lot of the polls, but the post-election time up until now, which is where the Democrats want everybody's attention on Donald Trump, I think that's holding him back a little bit. You talked about the personality conflict that many voters have. How are we going to see the lead Republican candidate surpass that personality conflict that some voters have?
Well, I hope that that there will be more people in the middle that all of a sudden realize that regardless of the New York style personality, his policies are right, and they start voting for policies instead of personalities. And so that's a challenge. And that's a challenge that his people are going to have to work on. But it has to be done because our nation can't survive 4 more years of somebody like Biden or the Democrat ideas, period.
Congressman Bost, if you were to retain the House majority in 2024, it's a very, very favorable landscape for the Senate for Republicans. And Joe Biden, should he be the nominee, I'm convinced that he won't be the nominee and that's baked in the cake. But should the Republicans be the winners of the 2024 election across the board, what does that look like for American voters, taxpayers in this country with a Republican majority to be able to get stuff done?
I think what you're going to realize is that what we did in the House to gain the House back is we had a message, and that message was the contract with America. That particular set of goals, securing the border, stirring economic growth, slowing the spending down, but paying off a long-term debt, not by raising taxes, but by putting more people to work and bringing more jobs home, making sure that we have a strong national defense, which is required right now when we're dealing with China. That's why we have the China Commission. So what I would see is those things that we've done very, very good in the House already, because we've had some really good wins in the House, but the Senate doesn't pick them up. We've got some really good wins, and I wish that the compromise would have been different. I didn't vote for it for the debt ceiling, but we got a lot of good wins in the debt ceiling. We did. I wish we would have got all the wins that we've had in the original bill. But that being said, we've gained ground. What it will look like is that we'll have a Senate that we can work with to actually move the ball forward, and then also to hand that ball off to the administration so it can be signed into law.
Congressman Bost, last question before we let you leave. He's the congressman for Illinois' 12th District, running for re-election as well. One of the key things that I hear from commenters on my show to pundits on the cable news networks, the championing of Joe Biden's legislative record. People question his acuity and his age and all of that. The people who are there to defend the president always talk about how successful, wildly historically successful, the president's legislative agenda has been. What do you say to that?
Well, I can't say the one word I'm wanting to say, so let's just go with baloney.
We say bologna sausage on this show.
Bologna. Okay, bologna sausage. The accomplishments have been, wait. As I've already said, Annie, our enemies don't fear us. Our allies don't trust us. Our economy tanked. Our inflation is through the roof. We have a situation on the southern border that we've never seen before, which allows for fentanyl and the killing of our youth to come across the borders. Where is the wins in any of this?
Yeah, you have to ask yourself what. Is this the eventual goal? Is this what you've been working for on the southern border? Is that what this administration really wants to have happen? The record prices at the grocery store, the record prices at the gas pump, the infiltration into people's homes to decide to co-parent with government in order to make decisions for these kids. If this is what their goals are and this is what they're championing, America really does have an important question to ask themselves come this next election.
They need to be asking. They really do.
Congressman Bost, we appreciate you. Come back again soon.
Hey, thank you.
Yep.
All right, I sure will. Thank you.
Bye-bye. U.S. Congressman for Illinois' 12th District, chair of the House Veterans Affairs Committee. You can follow him on Twitter at Rep Bost, B-O-S-T. Let's take a quick break. Wiggins America with the Weekend Roundup. This is where he gets to use his whip. So we got to let him come in here and do it, get it out of his system on Monday. Join us on the YouTube live chat and say hello there and vote in today's YouTube live chat poll. This is kind of a fun one. We're at least attempting to have fun with this one. Do you believe in any conspiracy theories? Yes or no? I think that there are some conspiracy theories that people are thinking they're very modern conspiracy theories, but there's a lot of conversation taking place there about broader ones that don't have anything to do with politics. They're interesting. Join the conversation. Tell us what your favorite conspiracy theory is in the chat. Vote in the poll and stick around. Wiggins America next.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
ClosetFactory.com, systems that provide custom organization for every room in your home. If you have a disorganized mess in your house and you've learned to live with it, it's that section of your home that just is an organized mess. You know what I'm talking about? Have the Closet Factory come in and provide you a beautiful custom solution for your organized mess. And you'll be so glad you did. It absorbs. It's a domino effect. It sure has been in my house with our master closet. They came in and from floor to ceiling put in customized storage for my husband and I, who share a closet. And it's not some big fancy closet. We walk into it and it's got 3 walls of storage. And we do need to have the extra space in there for 2 people to share this closet. It's a little tight. So they took the storage from floor to ceiling and they customized a section where my husband could hang his pants. They said, do you want to hang your pants all the way down? You want to put them over the hanger? And then they measured that space specifically for the length of my husband's pants. That's super custom. My dresses, same thing. I actually have more storage space in my closet now than I can even really use. And it allowed us to get rid of multiple pieces of furniture in our master bedroom because that stuff went into the closet. If you're looking for a custom solution for your needs, be it your closets, your garage, your basement, your laundry room, you reach out to the Closet Factory and they're going to help you. 314-961-4300, closetfactory.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
We are Under Law, your St. Louis legal powerhouse. Auto accidents, work injuries, pharmaceutical litigations, we do it all.
Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Visit getgym.com.
We made it. Summer is here, and I hope you have an incredible vacation planned. Mark Cox for my friends at Brenton Vision. If you've considered vision correction, now is the time to act before that summer vacation. Brenton Vision is the only place in Missouri you find all 7 forms of advanced vision correction, and their surgeon, Dr. Jason Brenton, explains these advanced treatments have a very quick recovery time. You don't have to miss out at all on your summer fun. And maybe you're thinking, well, how do I spend money on that and an awesome vacation? You can do both. Brenton Vision has very affordable payment plans. You can absolutely budget for clear vision and a great vacation this summer. Don't just take my word for it. My wife had lens replacement at Brenton Vision and she loves it. Look up Brenton Vision online. Check out the over 1,100 5-star reviews. Call them at 314-375-2020. 314-375-2020 or BrentonVision.com.
Tyler Hubbard of Florida Georgia Line is coming to Ballpark Village on Friday, June 23rd. Put your boots on and sing the #1 hit, Dancing in the Country, live at the Together Credit Union Plaza. VIP upgrades and pre-party packages are still available. Tickets and event details can be found at stlballparkvillage.com/events. That's stlballparkvillage.com/events. Tyler Hubbard, Friday, June 23rd at Ballpark Village. You won't want to miss it.
Ballpark Village welcomes Fits and the Tantrums with special guest Joshie Soul to the Together Credit Union Plaza on Saturday, June 24th. Rock out to hits like Hand Clap, Out of My League, The Walker, and more, featuring VIP upgrades and pre-party packages. Buy your tickets today and get event details at stlballparkvillage.com/events. That's Fits and the Tantrums with special guest Joshie Soul, Saturday, June 24th at the Together Credit Union Plaza.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness 101 for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness 101. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Do you believe in any conspiracy theories? Yes or no? That is today's Annie Frey Show YouTube poll. Vote and let us know not only if you do, but let us know what your favorite ones are. We'll be talking about that in the 2 o'clock hour. Right now, 12:46. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The voice for hardworking, free-thinking Americans.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, I went down to the Grundy County Auction.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Where I saw something I just had to have. My mind told me I should proceed with caution, but my heart said go ahead and make a bid on that.
You know what? My heart said go ahead and make a bid on that.
Okay.
The whole song is about auctioning off girls at the Grundy County Auction.
Oh, I thought it was furniture. I thought this was a furniture song.
That's the Bundy County Auction.
Oh. Oh, some nice mid-century pieces I was looking for in this song, but
Haven't we kind of gone through this arc of feminism where, like, I understand the song and I love this song. Big fan, no problems with it whatsoever. So don't get all bent out of shape that I'm like, we should cancel the Grundy County Auction. It's the Grundy County Auction's just fine. I would go to it right now if I could. But the whole song is about auctioning off women dates, which is something that do we still do that?
That's a good question.
I thought they did it with guys and not girls, where the guys would go up there and then the girls could bid on the
I don't know
guys
what kind
to
of
go on a
auctions
date.
you go to, but Pastor.
You totally set him up for that.
Yeah,
No, I didn't. It was
You
just-
did.
I protest those auctions all the time, and
Yeah, he's always standing outside with a picket.
these are people.
Don't pay for dates.
These are people.
I want you to go to the Madison County State Fair and say the same thing, but like for the heifers. You could use the same signs.
These are pigs.
Not food.
Friends. Pigs are friends.
These
not
are
food.
friends.
I just think it's funny when I hear My Heart Said, go ahead and make a bid on that. I don't know if you can write that in 2023 in a country song.
How old is that song?
I'm going to guess early 90s.
I was going to say, I think I was in junior high.
Mr. Frey is at home going, it happened in October of 1992.
Okay.
But it's a great song.
I got to tell you, I don't know that song, but I like that version of country. I like bluegrass country.
You like real country, 90s, 80s and 90s.
90s is starting to push it for me. But before that, I actually do kind of enjoy it. I don't really know it very well.
1995, John Michael Montgomery.
John Michael Montgomery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wiggins.
Let's auction you off. That'll be the intro.
Kind of fits, doesn't
We'll do it on a Monday, so you don't have to reimagine that. Intro.
Yeah, I don't want to have to redo that. Let's do a Monday mail auction. Be real popular.
I bet you there's somebody out there who'd pay to take you to lunch.
Hey, you know
and the
what?
best part would be it'd be during the show. So
I am totally up for that. I don't know if my wife would be, but she would be fine with me getting a free lunch. Just so you know, if somebody's buying me lunch, I think she'd be okay with that.
Okay.
First story is the stupidest of the bunch. I'm going to go with it first. A woman says, well, I've gone and done it. I've won the most idiot person. She says, I've won the most idiot person award. She says, in a TikTok video that's gone viral, she filmed the video from the hospital where she was taken via ambulance. She explained that she keeps her allergy eye drops next to a bottle of super glue.
Is this a news story? This has happened before.
This is a new story, yeah, as of this weekend. She super glued. I was getting ready to go to the grocery store, she said, and I was talking to my 5-year-old, so I grabbed the bottle off the dresser without looking, and she went to put it in her right eye, and it wasn't coming out at first, so I squeezed harder. Instead of looking at the bottle, it instantly started to burn.
Uh-oh.
While she was in tears, she actually filmed the video, so she's an influencer. So you go, okay, did you actually do this on purpose?
Wouldn't it be funny if she glued her eyes shut and she filmed the video to do it, but since she couldn't see, she didn't do it in selfie mode?
It was reversed.
How can I even use this content now?
She wouldn't know her eyes are shut.
Yeah, she says that they had to cut off her eyelashes individually and then cut through the glue.
That's the real tragedy for Hannah.
Yes. Anything but that. Not the eyelashes. Take anything else.
They had to cut with a precision knife into the glue through her eyelid to make sure that they could open it. It just sounds gross.
Hey, I have an update.
On that story?
On the Grundy County Auction.
Oh, yeah?
From my husband.
And?
No, he's not, but he is going to tell you that the song is not about auctioning off dates. That's just me replying to saying that he could tell you the date and time of the song. It isn't. And this makes sense. Obviously, I should have thought about this. The subject is at an auction, but then he sees a girl in the second row. She's an 8, she's a 9, she's a 10, I know. And then he describes who she is, but she's at the auction. She's not in the auction.
See, that's the way I thought it was.
Yeah,
but then
that's
you
right.
start saying it's like, man, I don't listen to country enough to
Wait,
know.
but isn't he wanting to bid on her
She's
still?
at the auction too and decides to make his move. That's what he says.
So he's rating her, but they're not actually like putting down money to go out.
Yeah, this is a woman who's actually not chosen to be rated. He's just doing it.
Okay. So this is like pre-hotornot.com and all that.
Yeah, and I'm about to bid my heart goodbye. So he's bidding with love.
Oh, man. What if he didn't win? He'd bid at his heart.
He's got to make his move, and his move better be good.
You're definitely not gonna win if you don't make a move.
I don't want to belabor this point, but is he the auctioneer in the song? So he's auctioning off things, and then he sees somebody in the crowd?
No.
He's a dude.
He's just there.
She's a lady,
Okay.
and he's like, I would like to take her out.
Okay.
But he happens to be at an auction, and it fit with the beat of the song that he happened to be singing about her at the
So
time.
it's just a love song that happens to take place at a rural auction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just making sure.
I still would like to put you in an auction, though.
Monday Roundup. All right, the Smith College School of Social Work will no longer be using the word field in reference to any aspect of its program, a word the school says may have negative connotations with racism and slavery, the word field. In an email last week, School of Social Work faculty members Katia Serrar and a few others said that the change reflected the school's stated core principles, that they call for centering the lived experiences of marginalized communities, among other things. Quote, "We recognize that language is powerful and that phrases such as going into the field or field of work may hold negative associations."
No.
Oh, my.
No, they don't.
So I personally, when I read this, thought that it sounded like a bunch of academic liberals patting themselves on the back.
In the field of higher education.
In the field of higher education. As if the word field could have never been used for anything except for racist purposes.
I know a lot of farmers who work in fields.
Do you?
Yes.
It's not even a stretch to say that the word field has been then appropriated into the work field, because people used to work all in fields. And so people would go, well, what's your field? As in, where do you work?
Yeah.
But now that is a racist term, according to the Smith College School of Social Work.
Field. Dictionary.com. An area of open land, especially when planted with crops or pasture, typically bounded by hedges or fences. Or 2, a particular branch of study or sphere of activity or interest.
Oh, that's going to be changing soon.
No, it's not. Nope.
Last one, actor and former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger says he believes it's a no-brainer that he could win the presidency in 2024. I want to pause right there and ask if you agree.
Isn't that the easiest thing to say when you're not allowed to run for president?
Yeah, you're not allowed.
of the United States?
That's why I paused there, because he can't run. But if he could, do you think he'd be a viable third-party candidate?
No.
You can't even have the conversation about it because he can't run. So he can posture all he wants to because nobody could ever prove him wrong.
It's true, but when I saw it, I thought, man, you know what? If he could run, he might be a guy. I wouldn't vote for him. He's not quite a Republican enough that he could do it for me. But even though he is a Republican in name, there's a name for that. I don't know what it's called. The Republican in name only.
Giraffe.
The giraffe. But I do think that he's got a point here that somebody like him could come along, and maybe that's Joe Manchin. I mean, I don't know if I would compare those two, but somebody could come along and siphon off a good portion
Arnold
of the vote.
Schwarzenegger has a lot of freedom because he cannot become the president. He's from Austria. So he was born in Austria, is my recollection. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Steve Moore, hope he can join us. We're going to talk about the United States-China meetings. Are they going to benefit the country economically? Is our focus in the right place? We'll ask Steve Moore of the Heritage Foundation when we return. Don't go away.
Where the auctioneer
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
CAJonesinc.com is the website. If you were looking to build a home on the Illinois side of the river and you want a place, a destination company that you can build with that cares about the communities that they build in, that cares about wonderful energy efficiency with the home that you're building, and gives you so many different customizable opportunities to make sure that the house that you pick, the layout that you pick, if you go to CAJonesinc.com right now, you'll be able to see all the different opportunities 2-bed, 3-bed, 4-bed, even expanded upon that with a lot of extra space and basements that can be finished. These are homes that people are raving about in Illinois. They're affordable as well. If you are looking to build for the first time, if you're looking to downsize because maybe the kids have moved out and you just don't need as much space anymore, C.A. Jones can build your dream home for you. And all you got to do is go online right now to look at the Design Your Own Home tool, to look at the different layouts. Everything you need is right there on the website. Go to cajonesinc.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Efforts to ease tensions with China. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. Secretary of State Antony Blinken capping off his visit to Beijing today with a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping.
Blinken canceled that trip to China earlier this year because the administration discovered the Chinese spy balloon floating over the U.S. Blinken now says he expects additional visits by senior U.S. officials to China over the coming weeks.
Direct engagement and sustained communication at senior levels is the best way to responsibly manage our differences and ensure that competition does not veer into conflict. And I heard the same from my Chinese counterparts.
The State Department says Blinken protested China wrongfully detaining Americans, its human rights abuses in Xinjiang, Tibet, and Hong Kong.
Fox's Rich Edson. A federal judge ruling former President Trump cannot retain copies of the discovery materials in the Mar-a-Lago documents case.
The ruling also states the former president may only review the material in the presence of and under supervision of his lawyers. The order is made by Magistrate Judge Bruce Reinhart, the same judge who signed the warrant authorizing the raid at Mar-a-Lago in August of last year. The former president insists he's committed no crime and that prosecutors are politically motivated.
Fox's Eben Brown. One person was killed, nearly 24 others injured during a shooting at a Juneteenth celebration at a strip mall parking lot near an apartment complex in Illinois.
DuPage County Sheriff's officials are still looking for the people responsible for the mass shooting that happened a few hours into the Juneteenth celebration that began Saturday night in Willowbrook, Illinois, southwest of Chicago. Officials say it's not clear what kind of weapons were used, and there's no word on a motive.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Search and rescue efforts are underway in the Atlantic after a commercial tourism submersible disappeared while diving on the shipwreck of the Titanic. 5 were aboard that vessel. America is listening to Fox News.
Simply Safe was named Best Home Security of 2023 by U.S. News and World Report. But we don't do what we do for the accolades. We do it to protect you and everything you love. Our advanced sensors, indoor and outdoor HD cameras, and hazard detectors are powered by live 24/7 professional monitoring, so you get emergency help fast. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Partly sunny skies with us as we go through this Monday afternoon. I'll still keep an eye out for a couple of spot thunderstorms, but a lot of dry time. Our high should peak out at 88. Tonight, clear skies, a slow drop through the 80s for evening plans. 65 for the overnight low. Tuesday, sunny and 89. Wednesday, sunny, 89 degrees. Wednesday, the first day of summer, beginning at 9:58 in the morning. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
We are going on the road for a great cause. Mark Cox here. Join me for a live broadcast Friday, June 30th at Chickenelli's in Eureka, helping our heroes by supporting Focus Marines Foundation fulfill their mission. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Ophthalmology Associates. My eye health is super important to me for a variety of reasons. About 30 years ago, I had an eye disease, and I almost had a retinal detachment, had surgery, everything has been okay, but regular eye care has become important for me and has been for decades, and I only trust the best. And that's doctors Greg Birdie and Ranjan Malhotra at Ophthalmology Associates. They're here in St. Louis to take care of all of your vision needs. Maybe you have dry eye or your eyes itchy and scratchy. It might be more than just allergies. And Ophthalmology Associates is a leader in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. Let's talk LASIK. With modern LASIK procedures, more people can benefit, and LASIK can reduce or eliminate your need for contacts and glasses. Even if there's nothing going on in particular, annual eye health exams can prevent many kinds of eye and health problems, and they're typically covered by insurance. If you want excellent eye care, trust Ophthalmology Associates. It's a great office experience and staff. They're always on the leading edge of the latest technology. 12990 Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270, 314-966-5000, online at yourEyeDoc.com. That's yourEyeDoc.com.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
When it comes to finding the perfect grill, family-owned and operated Cotton's Ace Hardware has you covered. Get free delivery and free fuel on any grills over $300, and free assembly and haul away of your old grills with the purchase of a new one. With a selection from Weber to Traeger and your local retailer of the Big Green Egg, Cotton's Ace Hardware makes it easier than ever to replace your old grill. Let Cotton's Ace Hardware make your family barbecue more enjoyable with that one-of-a-kind grill you've been looking for. Find your nearest St. Louis area location at cottonsace.hardware.com.
Need a break from the sound bites and the talking heads? Do you want information you can actually use? Information that'll change your life for the better? Then listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Let's make room for 72 more families to stay together during extreme medical emergencies each day by supporting the Ronald McDonald House Charities of St. Louis Capital Campaign. Please visit rmhcstl.com and learn the ways you can donate.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
It's a work in progress. This is something that we need to do in the interests of both of our countries. That is, not only to establish and reestablish and strengthen lines of communication across our government, which we have done, starting with this trip, and I believe visits to follow by a number of my colleagues, and then Chinese officials coming to the United States. Hugely important if we're going to responsibly manage the relationship, if we're going to communicate clearly and try to avoid the competition that we have veering into conflict. But an aspect of that that really is important is military to military. We don't have an agreement on that yet. It's something we're going to keep working. I made very clear to our Chinese counterparts the importance that we attach to that, something that is also profoundly in their interest, because again, we both agree that we want to, at the very least, make sure that we don't inadvertently have a conflict because of miscommunication, because of misunderstanding.
We don't want to have a conflict because we have a miscommunication. That's Secretary of State Antony Blinken. We talked about this in the pre-show on the YouTube Live. Every time I hear Blinken, I think of Robin Hood Men in Tights. I think in my mind, maybe Blinken from Robin Hood Men in Tights is Secretary of State. I have to separate those things. Antony Blinken is there in China having talks and trying to, I guess, mend the relationship there. President Biden, you want to talk about miscommunications that might lead to conflict? What about the most recent, at least as far as we know, concern that America might have regarding China and those spy balloons that we just let go across the entire country?
One of the things that balloon caused was not so much that it got shot down, but I don't think the leadership knew where it was and knew what was in it and knew what was going on. I think it was more embarrassing than it was intentional. And so I'm hoping that over the next several months, I'll be meeting with Xi again and talking about legitimate differences we have, but also how there's areas we can get along.
Imagine a scenario where China is flying spy balloons over the country and President Xi doesn't know about it. You buying that? I'm not. Not at all. Seems like a diplomatic thing for President Biden to say if he wants to make sure that China has the United States in its good graces. There is an emphasis right now for the president of the United States to mend some sort of strained relationship with China. And we're sitting here going, well, what's the outcome of this? Here's more from Blinken.
The economic relationship with China is vitally important, and also, when it's fair, a very positive thing for countries around the world. And at a time when countries are trying to rebound from COVID, something the United States has done very successfully, we want to see growth, we want to see success in every part of the world, including, of course, in the major economies like China. It's in our interest.
In our interest for growth in all economies together, the United States definitely investing time and energy into mending or growing a relationship with China. If you look back to Donald Trump's presidency and you see the effort that he put into having real conversations with Vladimir Putin and Russia, and a lot of people were all wrapped up in the, I don't know, what would you call it, a conspiracy theory that somehow or another Donald Trump was working with Russia to try to steal the power from the voters in the United States and use it for himself to retain it. That turned out to be a load of baloney. When you compare Donald Trump talking to Russia to Biden talking to China, you could see you could potentially see some comparisons there. Talking to adversaries and trying to manage that relationship because you keep your friends close, and what's the rest? Your enemy's closer. Well, let's look at here something else that has come out of these talks. According to Fox News, Secretary of State Antony Blinken reiterated United States support of the One China policy on Monday, saying that the U.S. does not support Taiwanese independence following a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Is that the U.S. policy? Is that what the United States says? That they are now part of this One China policy support? Blinken goes on to say, we do not support Taiwan independence. We remain opposed to any unilateral changes to the status quo by either side. We continue to expect the peaceful resolution of cross-strait differences. We remain committed to continuing our responsibilities under the Taiwan Relations Act, including making sure Taiwan has the ability to defend itself. Listen to this clip from May 23rd, 2022.
That's a commitment we made. We are not, look, here's the situation. We agree with the One China policy. We've signed on to it and all the attendant agreements made from there. But the idea that it can be taken by force, just taken by force, is just not appropriate. It will dislocate the entire region, and be another action similar to what happened in Ukraine. And so it's a burden that is even stronger.
And then he went on to this.
What should Chinese President Xi know about your commitment to Taiwan?
We agree with what we signed on to a long time ago, and that there's a one China policy, and Taiwan makes their own judgments about their independence. We are not we're not encouraging their being independent. That's their decision.
But would U.S. forces defend the island?
Yes, if in fact there was an unprecedented attack.
After our interview, a White House official told us U.S. policy has not changed. Officially, the U.S. will not say whether American forces would defend Taiwan. But the commander-in-chief had a view of his own. So unlike Ukraine, to be clear, sir, U.S. forces, U.S. men and women would defend Taiwan in the event of a Chinese invasion.
Yes.
There you have it. That's from the president. That was from September 19th of 2022. There's a lot of conflict taking place in China right now, and the investment of American troops in that region. Just talk to some American troops and ask them how they feel about it. But it doesn't seem as though that the president of the United States, the guy in charge, the commander-in-chief, and the policymakers and the people who are behind him, that they're on the same page. Doesn't surprise me. The future of this country economically, our country economically, we have to have a strong position in our relationship with China. Does that mean we have a strong relationship with China, or does that mean that we eventually have a strained relationship with China? The question that you have to ask yourself is, do you trust the people in charge to navigate an incredibly complicated, politically volatile situation so that America is represented first from our negotiation standpoint, from the economic benefit of the taxpayers, the voting citizens, and everybody who lives in the United States? Do you trust the people who are in charge to navigate this difficult situation and advocate for America first? I certainly don't with this administration, because they don't believe in America first. There's a globalist underlining of how they approach the majority of their decisions. Climate change is the leading factor in essentially everything that they invest time and money in. And it's the biggest hypocrisy of it all. Look at the research. Look at the Senate hearing. Senator Kennedy had a really, really great interview when it comes to the investment that it would require for the United States. The amount of money of your taxpayer dollars that would need to be invested in order to contribute to the reduction of temperatures and their entire effort regarding climate change. The amount of American money that it would take to do that, and how it would impact the bottom line, what the climate change folks want to see happen. What is your end goal? What do you need to get there? Okay, so if we give you all this money, what are you going to get out of it? And in the midst of all of that conversation, if America dedicated every single tax dollar that existed, forget everything else, forget the military, forget education, forget healthcare, forget everything else, forget Social Security. What if we put every tax dollar that we had towards fighting climate change? What if China says, we're not doing anything? Are we capable of solving the problem? Listen to Senator Kennedy.
If we spend $50 trillion to make the United States of America carbon neutral by 2050, how much will that lower world temperatures?
I can't answer that because we don't know what China and India and the rest of the globe has done.
Okay. Have you heard anybody from the Biden administration say how much it will lower world temperatures?
No.
Does anybody know how much it will lower world temperatures? No?
$50 trillion. $50 trillion. What's the outcome of that? We don't know. What if China and India and the rest of those countries who are massive carbon producers or whatever the language is, what if they don't participate? Well, then we can't really factor in what our efforts are going to do. I would imagine that the biggest baseline issue for this administration to go into China, the biggest thing that they're advocating for is an agreement on fighting climate change. And what you'll get out of China is an agreement to do something, and then they're not going to implement it. They're not going to do it. And they know it the whole time. But then the American taxpayer dollars get squeezed once more, and the folks on the left get to continue to campaign. Once again, it's a campaign of fear. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said, how many years ago? We need to know that, because when she said that we had 12 years left and then we're toast, I think we're on borrowed time right now. January 22nd, 2019. The world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. 31. We've got a few years left. It's amazing how much panic that we're in when we know that that's all the time we have left. It's ridiculous. It's a grift. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little Juneteenth. Today is June 19th. It is a federal holiday. You might have heard of Juneteenth. You might not have heard of Juneteenth, but we're going to discuss it here on the Annie Frey Show. We invite you to join us on the YouTube live chat. Have a comment, have a conversation with the many people here who are chatting and vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Do you believe in any conspiracy theories? Yes or no? And if you want to share with us what your favorite conspiracy theory is, one that maybe you playfully dabble in and just really hope isn't true, or any of that, let us know in the comments. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFreyShow.
The Retirement Advisory Group meets with their clients, and they will help you set up a strategy when you're nearing retirement and you're kind of to the end of your career and you're making sure that retirement is going to be there and working for you the way you anticipated it. They're going to help you set up a strategy that protects that nest egg, that very, very, very precious amount of sacrifice that you've made financially over the course of your working years, and protect that nest egg from any market losses. Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, Tammy Kershaw, the entire family business at Retirement Advisory Group make their living on helping you make your retirement be the living you're going to work off of in the coming years. And people who are in their late 50s, people who are in their 60s, who understand where you have to really shift that mentality, saving, sacrificing, and setting aside money for that time where you really want to be able to travel or maybe purchase some land or whatever it might be. You worked hard. You want to make sure it's going to be there, and anything going on in the economy around you doesn't penetrate all of that effort you've put in already. Set up a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review with the Retirement Advisory Group. Call them at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494, or visit them online at retirementkey.com.
Mark Cox here. Have you noticed that for sale signs in your neighborhood have been up longer than normal? Why? They don't have my good friend and trusted realtor Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. That's why I only recommend you call Gloria Liu. I've been telling you about her for years now. Call Gloria before you list your home. Gloria has the buyers with over 2,400 exclusive buyers in her database looking for a home in your neighborhood. Gloria sells twice as fast and for 5% more money on average when compared with other agents. With Gloria, you sell faster and for more money. She'll guarantee upfront in writing to sell your home at your price and your time frame, or she'll buy it herself. Call Gloria today at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and the seller must agree on price and possession date.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They're in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsLHonorFlight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Prosecutor Jane is here.
460 police officers have left
in the last couple of years.
That's never happened under any mayor, okay? That is a major problem.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
This is the Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
We want to take a moment to commemorate an important anniversary in our nation's history, June 19th, 1865. It is actually officially today, although the state of New Jersey commemorated on Friday. So some states may find that they want to, be on different days. But the proclamation was issued when enslaved people in Texas officially found out that they were freed. Today we celebrate it as Juneteenth. Martin Luther King Jr.'s niece says the message on this day is unity.
It gives us a little hint of jubilee, of healing, of coming together. All of those things that divide us will not help us. So I would say on Juneteenth, let's remember the things that do unite us, bring us together as brothers and sisters.
Nobody says it better than Alvita. Jubilee.
Harris Faulkner giving a little details about Juneteenth. I want to talk about Juneteenth because A, it's June 19th, and B, I think it's kind of a misunderstood holiday. It's a federal holiday now. It's a kind of a misunderstood thing that, just like most things, gets scooped up in the political realm, and then everybody's like, what does my political side say about this? And then they run to their political corners, which is just really stupid in general. And you sit here and you go, well, what is Juneteenth? I mean, like, everybody at home, raise your hand if you're not really familiar with what it is. There are a few of you. That's okay. So we talk about it. And I think Juneteenth is something that is great to celebrate. And that's why we want to talk about it here a little bit. If you listen to what Harris Faulkner was talking about there, she is talking about how slaves in Texas didn't find out until 2 years after the slaves were freed that they were in fact free. Think about that for a second. Because if you didn't get the information and you were living as slaves, and 2 years into that you found out, that would be, they were the last ones to discover this. It's a reminder that the United States fought a war and shed familial blood, overriding one of, if not the most egregious wrongs of this country's history. And when you understand what Juneteenth is, it's the total fulfillment of a time period when you didn't have the internet. Like, there wasn't, Abraham Lincoln didn't tweet out, "It's a great day." Huge day,
right, huge
in American history. Slaves. Yeah. So I wanted to play in honor of Juneteenth because I think that these words are so powerful and impactful. I want you to listen here to the Emancipation Proclamation and just take in what Lincoln said.
By the President of the United States of America, a proclamation. Whereas on the 22nd day of September, A.D. 1862, a proclamation was issued by the President of the United States containing, among other things, the following, to wit, that on the first day of January, A.D. 1863, all persons held as slaves within any state or designated part of a state, the people whereof shall then be in rebellion against the United States, shall be then, thenceforward, and forever free. And the executive government of the United States, including the military and naval authority thereof, will recognize and maintain the freedom of such persons, and will do no act or acts to repress such persons, or any of them, in any efforts they may make for their actual freedom. That the executive will, on the first day of January aforesaid, by proclamation, designate the states and parts of states, if any, in which the people thereof, respectively, shall then be in rebellion against the United States, and the fact that any state or the people thereof shall on that day be in good faith represented in the Congress of the United States by members chosen thereto at elections, wherein a majority of the qualified voters of such states shall have participated, shall, in the absence of strong countervailing testimony, be deemed conclusive evidence that such state and the people thereof are not then in rebellion against the United States. Now, therefore, I, Abraham Lincoln, President of the United States, by virtue of the power in me vested as Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States, in time of actual armed rebellion against the authority and government of the United States, and as a fit and necessary war measure for suppressing said rebellion, do, on this first day of January A.D. 1863, and in accordance with my purpose to do so, publicly proclaimed for the full period of 100 days from the first day above mentioned, order and designate as the states and parts of states wherein the people thereof respectively are this day in rebellion against the United States, the following, to wit: Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, except the parishes of St. Bernard, Palquemines, Jefferson, St. John, St. Charles, St. James, Ascension, Assumption, Terrebonne, Lafourche, St. Mary, St. Martin, and Orleans, including the city of New Orleans, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia, except the 48 counties designated as West Virginia, and also the counties of Berkeley, Accomack, Northampton, Elizabeth City, York, Princess Anne, and Norfolk, including the cities of Norfolk and Portsmouth, and which accepted parts are for the present left precisely as if this proclamation were not issued. And by virtue of the power and for the purpose aforesaid, I do order and declare that all persons held as slaves within said designated states and parts of states are, and henceforth shall be, free, and that the executive government of the United States, including the military and naval authorities thereof, will recognize and maintain the freedom of said persons. And I hereby enjoin upon the people so declared to be free to abstain from all violence, unless in necessary self-defense, And I recommend to them that in all case, when allowed, they labor faithfully for reasonable wages. And I further declare and make known that such persons of suitable condition will be received into the armed service of the United States to garrison forts, positions, stations, and other places, and to man vessels of all sorts in said service. And upon this act, sincerely believed to be an act of justice, warranted by the Constitution upon military necessity, I invoke the considerate judgment of mankind and the gracious favor of Almighty God.
The Emancipation Proclamation, of course, from Abraham Lincoln. I think it's so important to listen to something like that and hear those words. It's very interesting to me to think, what if Donald Trump would have had to deliver the Emancipation Proclamation? What would it have sounded like? There would have been a lot of hesitations when he was reading the teleprompter where he would have gone, that's true. It's true. He said that when he was on a teleprompter speech. The Air Force has an article put out today, and it's talking about Juneteenth. It says Juneteenth, also known as Emancipation Day, is celebrated annually on June 19th to commemorate the emancipation of enslaved African Americans in the United States. The Emancipation Proclamation, which you just heard here, issued by President Abraham Lincoln on January 1st, 1863, declared freedom for enslaved people in Confederate states. However, it took over 2 years for the news to reach enslaved African Americans in Galveston, Texas. On June 19th, 1865, Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston and announced the end of slavery, effectively emancipating the remaining enslaved individuals in Texas. This momentous event became known as Juneteenth, a combination of June and 19th. Juneteenth has become an occasion to honor ancestors, recognize their sacrifices, and celebrate the achievements and contributions of Black Americans to the nation. The holiday is marked by various activities such as parades, picnics, musical performances, historical reenactments, and educational events, fostering a sense of community, unity, and pride. I mean, to me, Juneteenth is the culmination of something that this country should laud itself over, the effort of white and Black Americans to end slavery here. Slavery was an import of the United States. It wasn't a creation of the United States. Have you read the Bible? I mean, like, the most historical documents that go back to the beginning of written time includes the idea of a more powerful community enslaving those in what were deemed enslavable. White people have enslaved white people, Black people have enslaved Black people. But in the United States of America, the largest conversation point, of course, is the enslavement of Black people who were imported here. And the United States came under the leadership of Abraham Lincoln. And yes, it's just historically, factually accurate that the Republicans who were in office at the time and who were bestowed by the people who put them there with the power and authority to influence the country to end the sin of slavery is something that is of historical significance. It's just true. If it hurts to hear that, I question your sensitivities. To me, if you are offended when you hear that actually the Republican Party did the most political contribution to the freedom of the slaves, and the Democrats in the South worked very hard even post-Civil War to make sure that Black Americans were disenfranchised from the system. The Democrats in the South did that. That is a historical fact. That if it hurts you in your heart and in your head to hear that, I fear that your loyalties are stronger to the Democratic Party than they are to the people who were freed by the Republicans who had the power at that point in time. So if you hear Juneteenth, if you're off of work today because of Juneteenth, clearly we aren't. We are acknowledging it here at the radio station, and there are celebrations taking place here. And I am not, I don't want you to have your own people listening to this station, people listening to the show. You're conservative leaning on the whole. Not everybody who listens is. I get lots of compliments from people who feel like they can look at the other side by listening to the show. And I also know a few of you who just hate listen. I don't know why you do that, but I am so glad that you're here. But isn't it ironic? I want conservatives to understand what the holiday is. Don't fall into the trap of feeling like lack of knowledge on a historical event like June 19th, somehow appropriated by other groups, is supposed to make you feel disenfranchised. Understand what it really is and join them in celebration, because it's a good thing. It's one of the best things that this country has ever done, is to say no to something that the rest of the world participated in and continued to do after we ended it.
Yeah, I can say honestly that if you take away the politics and who's using it for what right now, if you just look at what it is, it's a great thing that had been for a long time a local celebration to Texas and parts of Texas that has now become national. And I speak for myself when I say I really didn't even know what it was until 2020 when it became a national conversation. But then once you find out, you're like, that's an amazing story. And the fact that they've been celebrating it in Texas for so long is awesome.
Mm-hmm. And beyond Texas, it's been celebrated in Black communities outside of Texas for quite some time. And it takes on a life of its own. And, you know, I don't get to tell other people how to celebrate Juneteenth. And if I see something like happened to be in Philadelphia on June 19th, and we were there for a family wedding, but we were at the Liberty Bell, which is, you know, kind of like sacred ground, so to speak, for the founding of this country. Independence Hall was there. We went in it and visited. It was amazing to go see that. On June 19th, they had a big parade and they had a big protest. And the protest was because the founding fathers owned slaves. So June 19th, that was the biggest, that was in 2017. That was the biggest exposure that I had to Juneteenth, and kind of learned about what Juneteenth was from that experience. But then upon looking into it and researching it and listening to a history teacher that I know, I realized, no, this is actually a pretty cool holiday. I don't know what is the outcome. What is the desired outcome of using a holiday like that to protest the fact that the founding fathers owned slaves? What's the desired outcome there? Awareness? That could be the desired outcome. I think that most people who understand that the founding fathers exist understand that they own slaves.
Yeah, no doubt.
Kind of
it's a well-publicized fact.
You should know that.
Yeah.
What do you think about the idea? People say this country was built on slavery. It would be ignorant to suggest that this country did not have the economic boom and wealth that it has right now, because the free labor that came from slavery in this country allowed us to grow at a very rapid rate and accelerate from a brand new baby born country. I mean, there in a lot of ways, this country's economic prosperity was built because there was labor that was provided by slaves. I don't feel hurt when I say that or acknowledge that truth. And I do feel a sense of sadness that is what took place. And I have a sense of pride in our country that we ended it. That we said, in the midst of the prosperity that this country was experiencing and enjoying, like great economic prosperity, because so much of the prosperity was on the backs of slaves, that we still said, in spite of all of this economic benefit, we need to end this because it's wrong. And we did. We killed each other over it. I think that's a story that should be talked about and celebrated. And that's why, I mean, Juneteenth to me, Juneteenth is going to mean, just like St. Patrick's Day means something to Irish people more than it doesn't, but people can still participate in it and acknowledge St. Patrick's Day. It's a cultural celebration. Cinco de Mayo. Juneteenth is something historically much bigger than that, but culturally people are going to celebrate it in different ways.
Yeah, and I don't really think anybody who is new to the term or the holiday is really upset by the celebration of the holiday itself. I think people are concerned that it's been appropriated for political purposes, and a lot of people sort of protest that, if they protest. I use the word protest. But I also think that the term you just used, built on slavery, gets appropriated as well, because I think some people who use that phrase are using it to say that America was built on slavery as if that's the point of America. Like America was built to foster slavery, when I think that's not the point at all. If they're using it as an economic argument, then I think that there is something to be said there. But I think people who are using these phrases a lot of times are using them in the context of today's vernacular to make points about things that in their time were very true, but are being used for different purposes now.
Yeah. I think it's also important to remember, too, in the founding of the country, there were abolitionists in the founding of the country. There was a fight amongst the founders about what should we do about slavery, because there was an awareness that this isn't right. But there were also founders that were benefiting from slavery, and they're like, no, this is my livelihood. You can't stop this from happening. I mean, that's going all the way back. This has been a debate in the United States. You know, it's not like the United States was wholesale, all in, 100%. You know, everybody's like, yeah, we should have slaves. No, that's not accurate. There was a bigger majority of people who were for slavery than there was against slavery. But as time went on, as arguments went, as abolitionists gained more and more prominence, the argument shifted, and people are like, we need to end this. I mean, this is the founding of the Republican Party. It was initially a one-issue party, and it was the abolition of slavery. That's what it started as. Abraham got elected, and the southern states said, hey, he's going to end slavery. And that's when the Civil War broke out. He didn't even take office. He hadn't even taken the oath of office whenever the states started seceding. So to sit here and to say that the United States, like Ryan was saying, to say the United States was built on slavery, the only thing that it existed for was for slavery, that slavery is this big problem. Yeah, it was a huge problem, but it's not the identity of the United States. And as a matter of fact, the founding of the United States is what made it possible for us to then eventually abolish slavery. And I get it. I believe you. I don't think slavery ever should have been a thing. But the fact of the matter was that it was, and it was widespread among the world.
Yeah, it is. It is not America's sin, but it is one that we rectified, and I'm proud to say that we did. So it's Juneteenth. I want to talk about the Daily Beast article that you have when we come back regarding Juneteenth. Stick around for that. There's question about the direction that Juneteenth has taken when it I don't know if it's the corporatization of it, but it's about the mainstreaming of Juneteenth. And the Daily Beast, which is a heavily leftist publication, had something to say about how well that's going. So we'll talk about the Daily Beast article when we return. Join us in the YouTube live chat if you so choose. We'd love to hear what you think about this and the YouTube live chat poll today. Do you believe in any conspiracy theories? Any at all? Yes or no? You go vote in the poll. And if you want to comment and leave us your thoughts on some of your favorite conspiracy theories, you can do so in the YouTube live chat, and we'll talk about some of those at the 2 o'clock hour. We're going to go through some of these conspiracy theories and see if any of us go, maybe, maybe. So stick around. More on Juneteenth when we come back on The Annie Frey Show.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Give Fountains Family Dentistry a call, 618-622-1800, and get your appointment on the books. That is my advice to you, because the hardest thing about visiting the dentist is remembering to set the appointment. That's why they make it so easy for you at Fountains Family Dentistry, and they're easy to get to, too, right off of Highway 64 in Fairview Heights, O'Fallon, Illinois area right there. So easy to get to no matter where you are. But Fountains Family Dentistry has a website, fountainsfamilydentistry.com. You can go there and do it on your phone. You don't even have to call them if you don't want to. It's the homepage. It just says, make an appointment. Right there, it'll give you directions, and they'll actually remind you if you put your phone number in there. They'll give you a 2-week warning, and then, hey, it's tomorrow. So you really don't have to remember anything. They make it as easy as humanly possible to visit Fountains Family Dentistry. To get your teeth cleaned or whatever you've been putting off, do it now. FountainsFamilyDentistry.com. Again, in Fairview Heights, Illinois, 618-622-1800. They're open late on some days, early on some days. That is for your convenience. FountainsFamilyDentistry.com.
Updating your home with James Hardie siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today. sidingexpress.com.
Adam, man, your aunt parties are the best. I mean, you always find the best kitchens with all the crumbs.
Thanks, man. I love finding these homes to do this at.
Oh, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888. We'd love to help you out. Learn more about our special $67 offer. You can visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Selling your home? Every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. My friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. Check out the only agents I trust. Go to thegelmanteam.com. That's thegelmanteam.com.
This is Dan McLaughlin, inviting you to the 21st Annual Dan McLaughlin Golf Tournament to benefit the Special Education Foundation. This tournament has raised over $5 million, and 100% of the money raised has gone to children with special needs in our community. To sponsor, volunteer, or to play in the event on October 9th at Norwood Hills Country Club, please visit sef-stl.org. I'll see you on October 9th at Norwood Hills Country Club.
Earlier, we spoke with Representative Mike Bost about how 2024 is going to look different than 2022 was for Republicans. So rewind on the Odyssey app to hear that full interview. The time is 1:50. This update is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
You could be watching this right now. Tune into the Annie Frey Show live stream. YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Twitter. You know what? Just type in Annie Frey Show live stream. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
You were standing underneath us, we were not yet lovers. Dragons were smoked, bumblebees were stinging us. Our soul to be crazy. Eat, drink, and be merry.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thank you for being here with us today. The YouTube live chat poll, and we've got a lot of interesting suggestions so far in the chat. What are you smelling? Are you smelling?
I'm not, but Brad looks like he is.
I just got a whiff of something.
It smells like sewage.
There's something going on outside that door right there, and it has nothing to do with the four of us.
Yeah.
I hope.
It stinks. I walked in, and I said, does it smell in here? And
I got it.
It's making its way across the room.
Hannah goes, no, I don't smell anything. And I was like, is it me? Am I taking this smell? Like what's the Peanuts character that?
Pigpen.
I'm just checking myself to know if it was just me because I smelled it.
Well, after I said I didn't smell it, I was like, why does everybody smell it and I don't? And I thought it was me.
Yeah. Well, things are reflected.
Well, maybe it is one of us because I can't smell anything.
We'll talk more about how it smells in here later on the show, possibly. But the YouTube live chat poll is, do you believe in any conspiracy theories? Yes or no? You go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and vote yes or no. If you're, stop it. I don't know what you're laughing at, but I need you to stop.
One of the comments. It's funny. I'll stop, though. I'll stop.
Thanks for that addition to the show. Unbelievable. We don't want to know what your favorite conspiracy theories are. We're going to comb through them in the 2 o'clock hour and see which ones that maybe we might buy into. And a lot of them have nothing to do with politics. So we'll have some fun with that. Juneteenth, your article that you brought to the table that we wanted to talk about here from the Daily Beast, a daily source of information on the Annie Frey Show.
Yeah, the Daily Beast is about as far left as they get. I pulled it up because there's articles on there right now.
Stinky.
They're very stinky.
The Daily Beast and the studio.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're just things that are so inflammatory against anything GOP related.
Water Sweet Soap Company lotion. Everybody use it in the room, and then it'll smell like
moisturize your upper lip.
Cucumber and basil. Go on.
But the point of this article, the headline is, can we admit mainstreaming Juneteenth has been a disaster? And it's got a big picture. I mean, this is why I say it's a leftist blog, basically. I mean, it's a news outlet, very, very far left. They've got a big picture of Chuck Schumer
If the
on the
Blaze
front.
posts this and we read this, it hits different.
It's just more, it's a very, very normal.
You can audibly hear us lotioning up in here.
I haven't gotten to it yet.
I forgot you're only supposed to do a drop of
tiny.
this, and I'm all oily.
So it's got this picture of Chuck Schumer wearing a Juneteenth T-shirt somewhere in Washington in front of a BLM flag, wearing the kind
Sure
of
it's not Mitt Romney?
African colors. It is definitely not Mitt Romney. That is definitely Chuck Schumer. And it even says, the article starts with, "Sure, Chuck." It talks about different quotes from Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden about equal justice and things, and it just says, "Sure, Chuck." Growing up in Houston, Juneteenth was a black holiday in my hometown. I remember spending my summers down at Galveston Beach and watching the procession of decorated cars with live music proceed as the Jubilee Parade commenced. Juneteenth was our 4th of July, a celebration which reminded me that the South still had something to say, and that here's a key phrase for what's going on with it right now, and that black people didn't have to wait for the validation of our white peers to gather around our history. Since the racial uprisings of 2020, this sacred holiday has now become mainstreamed into something that now feels whitewashed, co-opted, and highly performative. He says, I started to notice it last year when Walmart thought it was being progressive when they released a red velvet and cheesecake flavored Juneteenth ice cream with a Pan-African decorated carton. Fun fact, Juneteenth has never incorporated African-themed colors designs as part of its official flag. Organizers of Juneteenth use red, white, and blue to replicate the U.S. and Texas state flags because it's an American holiday. Walmart just couldn't help but pander to customers as a way to flex that they were recognizing black people. The controversy led to the corporation to apologize and discontinue the line of tone-deaf ice cream along with other merchandise. And he goes into lots of other examples of corporations who have done the same kind of stuff the last couple of years.
Is it shocking that there are politicians who are like, ooh, can we make this our own?
And that's exactly what this is saying.
If you are fully, wholeheartedly invested in the Black Lives Matter movement and you're like, we need Joe Biden to be our president, I'm just going, really?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it or isn't it? There are so many people who care so deeply, truly, honestly, from their heart, care about these issues that are far left progressive issues that I'm looking at as a political grift on something that is honest and real. Whether you agree with it or not, I don't know how you look at Juneteenth, which is a historical day. I mean, that is what it is. What happened. You can't be like, I don't agree with that.
Right.
It's not up for debate.
Right.
It is what it is. But the political co-opt of it, good for the Daily Beast, I guess, and calling out and being like, look what they're doing.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, conspiracy theories. We need yours on the YouTube Live channel.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The nation's top diplomat in China. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. Secretary of State Antony Blinken wrapping up his visit to China with a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping amid high tensions between the two countries.
I stress that direct engagement and sustained communication at senior levels is the best way to responsibly manage our differences and ensure that competition does not veer into conflict. And I heard the same from my Chinese counterparts. We both agree on the need to stabilize our relationship.
The two sides expressed a willingness to hold more talks, but there was little indication that either is prepared to bend from its positions on issues including Taiwan, China's military aggression in the South China Sea, and Russia's war in Ukraine. A federal judge today ruling former President Trump cannot retain copies of the discovery materials in the Mar-a-Lago documents case and can only view those documents under the supervision of his attorneys. Trump entering not guilty pleas to 37 felony criminal charges related to the handling of classified government documents. He calls the case political persecution. North Korea plans another spy satellite launch as officials say the country hopes to strengthen its ties with China.
Today, North Korean officials are promising a second spy satellite launch after last month's failed attempt. In May, a rocket carrying military intel crashed shortly after liftoff. North Korea has ramped up efforts to grow and modernize its weapons arsenal as leader Kim Jong-un hopes to acquire surveillance systems to more closely monitor South Korea and the United States. The country is also aimed to build on its relationship with China at a time when relations with the United States reach new lows.
Fox's Alex Hogan. A search continues at this hour for a tourism submersible that was diving on the Titanic wreckage in the Atlantic. It disappeared with 5 aboard yesterday. America is listening to Fox News.
At SimpliSafe, we know during a break-in, every second counts. So our home security system is powered by 24/7 professional monitoring agents who use Fast Protect technology, only from SimpliSafe, to capture video evidence and verify a threat for fast police response. Now, install SimpliSafe your way. Do it yourself or have an expert set it up for you with new Pro Install. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Partly sunny skies with us as we go through this Monday afternoon. I'll still keep an eye out for a couple of spot thunderstorms, but a lot of dry time. Our high should peak out at 88. Tonight, clear skies, a slow drop through the 80s for evening plans. 65 for the overnight low. Tuesday, sunny and 89. Wednesday, sunny, 89 degrees. Wednesday, the first day of summer, beginning at 9:58 in the morning. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Stewart's American Mortgage, 314-324-4440. Call or text 314-324-4440 when you were looking to get a mortgage for a house, you're trying to make an offer, you want to get pre-approved, and you want to be the most competitive person because it's super competitive right now in the real estate market. Inventory is low. You need to be equipped with the best possible offer that is going to be made so you can win. Stewie helps you with that. When you partner with Stewart's American Mortgage, you get pre-approved. And once you get that pre-approval amount on the website, you can generate your own pre-approval letters so that you are ready for action when the offer needs to be made. And you don't have to wait on a third party to do that. He can also close in less than 2 weeks. That's fantastic. A quick close can often be the thing that seals the deal on the offer that is made. And the biggest thing with the bagel loan, when you partner with Stewart's American Mortgage to get your bagel loan, you're not going to pay any closing costs that everybody else out there is going to charge you for. Call or text Stewie to find out how he can help you. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness 101 for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness 101. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
With each breath, allergens, germs, and viruses get trapped in your nose. Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage. Available at Navage.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things, for our planet. When buying toys for your pet, look for natural materials like cotton, rope, wood, or bamboo. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
Mining for truth in a landscape of BS. 97.1 FM Talk. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's been a good show so far. We had Congressman Bost on at 12:25. He has announced within the last couple of weeks that he is running for re-election in 2024. And I asked the congressman what needs to happen for the red tsunami that we were bracing ourselves in 2022 to actually materialize in any capacity in 2024. And he gave us a lot of thoughts on that. Did you get to hear that, Ryan? What did you think about our conversation?
I thought that he, talking about Trump in particular, and the fact that I guess he has endorsed Trump.
Yes.
So he's talking about having a strong guy at the top of the ticket. I think that is he made that point, and it's one that we don't make often enough, about the fact that having a marquee name on the ballot does turn out voters more in a presidential election year period versus a midterm.
One thing that I heard Congressman Bost say is that he hopes that people see policy over personality in the next election if Trump's at the top. And I'm like, hope was a campaign strategy once, but it wasn't on the Republican side.
Yeah, I just don't know if you can remove personality from policy with these guys.
I'm sorry, I was working on something else.
Well, we were chatting about this before. I just think that when you are looking at the top of the ticket and you see that hope, if you're hoping that voters do something different the second time around than the first time around, I just think that's risky.
Yeah, I don't like relying on voters to change their mind. You know, just you've got to convince them. You can't just say, well, look at how bad the other guy's doing. I really want my politicians, people that are campaigning for my vote, to convince me that they've got something better than saying, hey, I'm just a different guy than the other guy. Relying on people to see how bad Joe Biden is doing, that was the strategy in 2022, and it didn't play out well for the Republican Party. So I think that there needs to be, you can highlight what he is doing poorly and be like, he's doing this, whereas we will do this, and that will bring about, and then focus then on your forward-moving campaign. Don't worry about, like, he has done a terrible job, but here's how we can fix that, and then give your plan for fixing it.
Well, if you want to hear that conversation, it was at 12:25 today. You can rewind on the Odyssey app. Follow 97.1 FM Talk and the Annie Frey Show, both individually. Follow both of them on the Odyssey app, and you can check that out. Our podcasts are uploaded there. So here's what I want to do about the conspiracy theory YouTube poll that we have today. Do you believe in any conspiracy theories? Yes or no? We've starred some of them. I want to take turns. Hannah's going to give us the results and some of your feedback at 2:45, like she always does. But we can all see the comments that have been set aside. Hannah, I'm going to start with you, but I want to go around and let us each pick some of our favorites that maybe we want to discuss here, because there's some wild stuff being discussed. We're asking you right now. You can join us on the YouTube live chat. You just go to the Annie Frey YouTube, and you'll see that we're broadcasting live there. And tell us what some of your favorite conspiracy theories are, or maybe why you are or aren't a conspiracy theorist.
All right. Themore76 on our Twitch page said, Flat Earth, 9/11, moon landing, JFK. That's all he said.
Is that all one conspiracy theory? Because that would be wild.
I mean, it could
be. Are they
be
tied together? That is a conspiracy theory. Quite a few.
That's the only thing that person commented.
Brad, you want to go next?
Yeah, this one's from Andy K. He says, I think the government and or the CIA was involved in the JFK assassination.
Andy, this is the number one reason why I want RFK Jr. to be the president.
Yeah.
I mean, so if RFK Jr. becomes the president, did Trump not say he was going to release the
Trump
JFK
did say
files?
he was going to do it, and then he didn't.
Here's the thing. If RFK is there, though, you know the same thing is going to happen. They're just going to not give him what he asks for.
RFK Jr., I haven't listened to it, but I've heard a lot about it. RFK Jr. did a Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
Have any of you listened to it?
I heard the one that he did with Mike Tyson, where he talks about why he thinks it was the CIA that assassinated his dad.
Wait a second. Less pronouns.
Okay. RFK
Not that
believes...
we're opposed to pronouns here on the Annie Frey Show, but I just can't follow.
Just say they and they.
Which is also a problem with
when
the other
they
thing.
were talking to they.
Yeah. RFK went on Mike Tyson's podcast to discuss the assassination. RFK Jr. went on Mike Tyson's podcast, and he discussed the assassination of RFK Sr., RFK's dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, he being RFK Jr., believes that it was the CIA that assassinated his father.
What happens? I'm stupid, and that's made clear every day here. What happens if RFK Jr., if Trump, if Joe Biden accidentally tells people?
Whoop, that one kind of slipped right out
What
there.
if he leaves those documents laying out at the ice cream store and whoops?
He's like, that's why we shot RFK Sr.
And then, and then
not a joke. I'm going off script here. I'm going to get in trouble.
It is a joke.
I mean, yeah, it's a joke. It's a good one, huh? God save the queen.
Woman. If that information is to be released, what happens in 2023 or 2024? Because I mean, obviously, the idea would be that there is something that needs to be protected as to why that information isn't being released. I mean, I guess this is where it becomes conspiracy theory because we don't know what is the danger of releasing the information.
So what happens next year if that is revealed to be true this year?
No, RFK, here's the hypothesis or the fake story.
Say
clearly.
they and they.
Set out the conspiracy.
RFK Jr. becomes the president of the United States.
Okay.
So that's where we are right now.
Okay. Mike Tyson has a podcast.
And stop it. RFK Jr. becomes the president. He gets to see, I mean, if I were him, if he will say, what's the first thing you're going to do? I would say, I want those files. I mean, if I were him, I would openly say that.
Yeah.
Give me the files. I want to see them. The conspiracy theory is that the CIA killed the Kennedys, right?
Yeah.
So if that became true and RFK Jr. knows that and he releases the documents for the American people and you found out that to be true, do we lose our minds as Americans all these decades later? What happens?
Well,
why are you smiling like that?
To me,
and looking at me out of the corner of your eye, do you know?
Well, because
Ryan,
listen.
Put your Fed hat around. Turn
I'm
it around.
not from this planet, so I know a lot of things. No, you go first because I have a lot to say about this.
So here's my thoughts. In the event that it was the CIA that assassinated RFK or JFK or both, the reason they would have been doing it would have been something to do with the Cold War and that. The Cold War is over. Those secrets probably don't need to be hidden anymore. So the only reason to hide that information any longer is to maintain the credibility of the CIA and the FBI, which is in the dumpster anyway right now. So I don't know that anything changes.
I like
advocacy for it being released is it can't get worse for you guys.
Yeah, what are they?
This could maybe elevate your profile.
Nobody trusts you anyway.
Yeah.
That's okay. If JFK, if he was assassinated by the CIA or whoever, the deep state, as it was not called back then, and RFK, then the only way, and the reason that would have happened then is because he was threatening those organizations by diminishing them or scaling them down. So the only way that we're ever going to see those documents, if they exist and haven't been burned already, is by Donald Trump or RFK or Ron DeSantis on day 2 of their presidency in 2025, walking into the CIA headquarters and going, "You're all fired.
Get out.
Get out. Give me your passwords." Because there's no way
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's no way those top people would ever comply with any of those people asking for information.
RFK Jr., my understanding is on the Joe Rogan podcast, which I can't recommend it to you because I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm recommending me finding out the time myself to go listen to it, said that he lives his life very carefully.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he said that on the Tyson one as well. They're like, wouldn't the CIA be gunning for you?
That's probably why he's running for president.
And he's like, yeah.
so that he's protected.
Says I'm very careful with what I'm doing.
Okay, can I go next? I'm
yeah.
gonna pick
Oh, yes, please.
RSG. This is. He says conspiracy theories are a lot like moon landings. They're all fake.
Wait a minute.
Hang on a second. How many degrees around did we go there? 180 or 360?
Let me slowly say it again. Conspiracy theories are a lot like moon landings. They're all fake. What is it about the moon landing being fake? Is it just a rush for excellence that puts America in a position to be doing things that, like, why?
I think the reason the conspiracy theory that the moon landing was faked is they wanted to beat Russia to the moon, but it was, and they'll even say continually, it's impossible to go to the moon because of some sort of layer, or they didn't have the right computing thing, so they filmed this on a soundstage for propaganda and publicity purposes. See, capitalism is better than communism because we got there first. I
support it. I support the efforts, even if it were fake.
Yeah, we were fighting communism, Brad.
Let's land on the sun.
Yeah.
South Korea beat us, or North Korea beat us there already.
Let's land on the sun and see if anybody's willing to try to get there first. You want to go, Brian?
I'm going to pull up one that's just sort of a broad statement here. It says...
About women?
Yeah. What is up with the ladies these days? You know what I'm saying? 19 Blues Lifer 70 says, without conspiracy theories, truth would never be known.
That's not a conspiracy theory.
I know, but I was looking at other ones, and a lot of them, you guys took some of my favorite ones.
There's one that just...
Go for it.
I don't even know. Annie,
put it up.
Help. It says, everyone knows Disney created Frozen as a way to hack Google's search algorithm and distract consumers from information about the late Walt Disney cryogen procedure.
Cryogenic.
There's a...
What?
So people say that Walt Disney was frozen. That he could be, like, resurrected. Just like Austin Powers.
What?
He wasn't frozen. I'm obligated to say that.
Oh, so people...
Wait a minute. What's that club at Disney?
People say that they created
Disney
Frozen.
Vacation
so
Club.
when they looked up Disney's Frozen, it would
So
be
it
the
would
movie.
flood the Google results.
And it wouldn't be Walt Disney.
Like that's going to make the conspiracy theories go, oh, well.
Dang.
Let it go.
I've heard, now again, I don't know
Watch out
if
for
this is
Big
true,
Disney.
but I've heard that one part of Walt Disney's body is in each Club 33. That
Careful what you say
they've
now.
separated him out, and then if you are a high-ranking member, you could put him back together to see what he thinks of the direction of the company right now.
Voltron.
It's one of the coolest attractions.
You put Walt Disney's actual body back together?
Oh, no. We're going to do a little bit more of this when we come back. We need to know if you believe in any conspiracy theories, yes or no, or what you think about some of these. We'll continue to feature your comments when we come back. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk. We appreciate your participation. We'll be back after this.
It's time for me to quit her. La, 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 whatever. La, 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 it doesn't matter. La, 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 oh well. La, 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 we're going out.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show.
There's a party on the rooftop, top of the world tonight, and we're dancing on the edge of the Hollywood sign. I don't know if
AirComfortService.com. If you are looking for a new HVAC system in your house, there is a great opportunity for you to contact Air Comfort Service, 314-513-0091, and save money. But you got to do it by the end of June. So until the end of June, you can save up to $1,550 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates on qualifying systems. You also can qualify for 0% financing for up to 72 months and be eligible for utility rebates and tax credits. Air Comfort Service, Corey, and the entire team there, they are top-notch when it comes to customer service, respecting your need for a new HVAC system, assessing your problem to make sure that maybe you don't even need a new air conditioning unit. Maybe you need an AeroSeal duct sealing, which I've had at my house from Air Comfort Service, to seal the inside of all of the ductwork in your house so the air is equally distributed throughout the home. So it's being cooled at the upper level, the same as in the basement. Or maybe you need insulation to be checked as well, because all of that cool air going into your house, if it's escaping through an under-insulated home, then you can get that problem solved as well from Air Comfort Service. Through the end of June, save big with Air Comfort Service. Online at aircomfortservice.com.
This Little Light is a new podcast hosted by Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Join him as he explores falling in love with music, music education, and the creative process while interviewing the biggest names in music, like Rick Rubin.
I like things that are stripped down. I've always liked things that are stripped down. But then I can get to the point where I like something that's stripped down and what's it like with an orchestra.
This Little Light is a presentation of Cadence 13. Subscribe and download it now on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all of the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie Siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Download the Odyssey app to listen to 97.1 FM Talk and find content that moves you. Anytime, anywhere. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk on the go.
Just a young gun with a quick fuse. I was uptight, wanna let loose. I was dreaming of bigger things and wanna leave my old life behind.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
I was lightning before the thunder.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're having some fun with today's YouTube live chat poll. Do you believe in any conspiracy theories, yes or no? We've had listeners submitting their conspiracy theories on the chat all day, and we've been highlighting some of them. And I'm going to put this one up there. Susan says, I believe the moon landing in the 1986 Challenger shuttle exploding was faked. You can find the Challenger shuttle astronauts online in their current careers. There's some confidence behind that statement.
Yeah. Ooh, if you could maybe share those astronauts with us, Suzanne, we could have them on.
Breaking news on the Annie Frey Show right now.
Yeah, let's talk to those people.
To me, it's always a matter of what's to benefit from faking something like that. And we established in the last one, we talked a little bit about the moon landing. But the Challenger, it's the fancy way of saying it.
It's the Challenger.
The Challenger. The Challenger exploded. Like, why would we fake that?
I cannot think of a upside to that.
I'm sure somebody's got a motive somewhere if they're saying that it was faked, because that's always the first question. What is the motive? The questions I always ask with these things are, if there's somebody who's all in on the conspiracy, one, how many people need to be involved to pull it off? Because the more people that are, the harder it gets. But then on the other side, if somebody who says, nah, I don't believe in any of those things, then I always ask, well, do you think people in power wouldn't lie to you? Yeah. Because it kind of goes both ways, and that's the nature of these things.
Yeah, I am trying to find the comment on here. Here's Charles's. I don't believe any conspiracy theory that involves a large number of people keeping a secret for a long time.
Yeah.
I guess the question is how many people know what the Kennedy files say?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah,
because we have no idea.
Wonder if it's even that large of a number of people and how many of them are still even alive.
They would have had to keep it for a long time. The alien thing, too, that's another one that you go, well,
we haven't talked about aliens
yeah,
yet.
how many people would have to know and then not say anything? Although, also for their sake, what's their motive for not saying anything? Because if it's basically like, we'll kill you if you say anything, well, then maybe there could be a few more than anticipated.
Well, I mean, my father-in-law had a top secret clearance, and he kept stuff from us.
I thought you were going to tell us all the things you knew.
No, once it gets declassified, then we were watching a History Channel show about how they were catching the different films from the satellites and stuff like that. It was a program. They'd fly the planes, the satellites would drop the film in the 60s, and they'd catch them. That was a top secret program that he worked on, and whenever they put it out there that it was declassified, he's like, oh, yeah, I did that, and this is what I did in that project, and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
So I don't know that a large group of people keeping secret information from us is that big of a thing as long as they believe in the reason for keeping that secret.
Guy on YouTube says the moon landing being fake is backed by our flag blowing in the wind, and there's no wind on the moon. Why has the moon never been classified as a planet? I didn't see that coming at the end there.
That last part I'm not sure about. But the wind thing, we talked about this before?
I don't know if we've talked about it, but it's just when he puts it in the ground, there's no air and there's no atmosphere, and so the flag swings because the flag wasn't a flag because there's no atmosphere and there's no wind. The flag isn't going to flow out. The flag is L-shaped, upside down L, and there's a rod that goes across the top of the flag that they hung the flag from, so it would just be out so you could see the American flag. And when he hits it in the ground and they stick it in, the shaking of the ground causes the flag to flap back and forth until...
Are you explaining why it made sense?
No, that's why it's not... He's debunking it's not wind. It's just physics. When they put the flag
just like
in the ground... When they put the flag in the ground...
How do you move a microphone that fast?
Just with my
Punch
hands. So, I don't know that I buy that. And the reason the moon's not a planet is because it doesn't orbit the sun. It orbits the Earth.
Wow, you're smart.
That makes a lot of sense.
There it is.
I'm not arguing with that.
No, I'm not either.
But what about like a mini planet?
I don't know. I think Pluto's a planet, so...
What about a tiny little planet? What about a tiny planet that's so small it's the size of my fist, but it's got tons of tiny people on it?
Asteroid.
Christopher says, here's a question. What makes it a conspiracy versus an assumed true scenario? For example, Trump and Russian collusion was a conspiracy theory, but at the time, media treated it as fact.
That's a good question, Chris.
I just wanted to say that out loud on the show.
Gosh, Chris, you know what? None of us can really figure out the answer to that question.
We're trying to dive in and really just parse that apart and figure out why that is.
Journalistic ethics are, I think, involved.
There are times that I want to go back and look at coverage. I have done this for a host of other things, specifically the idea of Donald Trump being racist and all the clips that they would pull and air out that Donald Trump said this, but they're always taken out of context. They're always cherry picked to form a narrative. I maxed out the amount of tweets in a thread that you could with examples of why these things were being cherry-picked to create a false narrative. It's almost a conspiracy theory that Donald Trump was this racist person that he never really was. And you go back and you think about the reporting, the coverage, the Schiffisms that took place during the whole Russia thing, and just how arrogantly confident they were about what they were presenting to you. And the reason why they were so confident is because they knew they could get away with it.
Yeah, the messengers would hold their water for them.
Well, there's nobody to check them on it.
If the media refuses to advocate for truth and they decide to advocate for narrative or party, we're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
The free press being part of the First Amendment is really key to honestly, like any one of these conspiracy theories that we're talking about, if you could trust the media to advocate and quit at nothing to get to the truth, there's a lot here that we wouldn't even be questioning as much. But they don't, because to Christopher's point, the narrative of Russia collusion was so valuable to what the challenging party needed to be true and needed to be covered, that every journalistic standard was just tossed right out the window. And if they're willing to toss it out the window for that, what aren't they willing to cover? Not cover. What aren't they willing to report on or not report on? Folks, bias in media coverage has way more to do with story selection than story positioning. Putting on a story on your news network, Fox News does this too. What they cover a lot, what they don't cover a lot. If you choose to not put a story out there to be debated in open air, you are making a choice. I don't really know. This is where I think Tucker Carlson comes in. I firmly believe that Tucker Carlson is about to seismically reshape media in this country. And will Tucker Carlson on his own ever be as big on his own as he was on Fox News? I don't necessarily think he will. But what ends up happening, every time something like Tucker Carlson or Joe Rogan or the Daily Wire or the Young Turks even, I'll throw them in there from somebody on the other end of the spectrum. News Nation. What's Cuomo on right now?
I wanted to say Newsmax, but it's not Newsmax.
Was it News Nation?
It is News Nation.
It is News Nation?
Yeah.
That sounds familiar, actually.
To my point, will they ever be as big as they were when they were on the big network news? No, probably not. But I don't think that. I think as a whole, every punch that the big network news and the big cable news channels take, where all of a sudden these people, these personalities, there are a lot of people who really like Cuomo.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of people who really like Tucker Carlson. When they get taken out of what is mainstream and put in somewhere else, it draws the attention to an alternative. And to me, it's either mainstream or alternative right now. An alternative is like a buffet of a whole bunch of different things where you can go and get what you want, how you want it, and in many cases, when you want it. The generational separation between boomers and older to Gen X and younger. Gen X and younger is going to be much more likely to adapt to app-based media consumption or subscription-based media consumption. Like when I think about my grandparents, they watched the nightly news every night. They watched the local news and then they watched the network news. And that was part of their routine. There's no way that they would have been able to go find their favorite news guy on an app, on a smart that would not have happened. But we are moving away from this, and every big personality that gets relocated off ends up creating their own thing through podcasting or YouTube channels or Rumble channels or what's the Substack? Substack is a great example of just independent journalism. As soon as that gets the footing that needs to happen in our country, and there is an alternative voice than whatever is approved by the CNN, MSNBC, Fox News narratives, then we're going to get real advocacy. And it's going to force, because capitalism, it's going to force those big network and cable outlets to make a decision if they want to double down where they are or include more perspectives and more in-depth reporting. And once we get a trust back that there is somebody out there who is willing and capable to get to the bottom of it, then conspiracy theories like this, you have an advocate. You have somebody out there who is working to have access to the information, to report on the information. And I honestly, truly believe that is ground zero for getting our country back. These people in power can't believe that they can get away with whatever they want because they can now.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole point of the media, the whole purpose of the media was to be the voice of the people, to hold the government accountable. And that has switched now, and they are the voice of government telling us what the government wants us to hear.
we need those alternative sites and media in the press briefing rooms. That's the big problem right now.
Donald Trump added a ton of them.
And he did. And he would walk out of a helicopter and go, let's go. He wasn't afraid to talk to anybody.
Rubbing his hands together.
Whereas most people in power in general, not just politicians, but people in power, they're so selective about who they'll talk to because they don't want to be challenged and they want to control the message. And part of you, if you're a CEO, you kind of understand, well, yeah, I want to control the messages for my bottom line. Politicians kind of the same way, but it's so unfortunate that we've gotten there that there is nobody in the traditional media, the legacy media, whatever you want to call them, who is asking those questions because that's their purpose of being there in the first place.
Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get the results of today's poll. Do you believe in any conspiracy theories? Yes or no? And I want an exercise here on the break for us to come back. Are there any things that we used to think to be conspiracy theories, not so much politically based, but are there any conspiracy theories that we have since been able to uncover some of the truths that exist behind it? So where we're like, oh, people used to think that was a conspiracy. Look now. I mean, we kind of used Russia collusion as an example, and I don't know that leftists would even concede that at this point in time, but we would. Let us know what you think in the YouTube live chat on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We'll be back with the results in just a minute.
Feel the thunder, lightning and the thunder.
TheDiamondShop.net. I want to use this as an opportunity to remind you, St. Louis has been served by the Diamond Shop since 1910, but they're in Clayton right now. This is a feature that they have that I think is really important for us to think about at this point in time. In June, they have special financing available, 6 months, same as cash. What's 6 months from now? Christmas. Believe it or not, if you are looking to make a purchase, if you've been thinking about that and you want to finance it over the course of the next 6 months so that you can get that wonderful gift for your loved one, 6 months, same as cash is a great way to be able to afford something beautiful, wonderful, that perfect Christmas gift that you might be looking for. Come this Christmas. Go to the Diamond Shop in Clayton, and you can see all of the different wonderful pieces that they have. A wonderful selection, very wide selection of engagement and wedding rings. They also have a ton of fine jewelry. They have watches as well. I have a wonderful pearl necklace that my husband got me to celebrate my birthday and when we got the show, and I cherish it, and it's something I will be able to hand down to my daughter, and it's really important to me. It was a really wonderful gift. If you're thinking about getting something, don't forget that 6 months same as cash option right now sets you up perfectly for Christmas. You can become a VIP and get special discounts and merchandise online at thediamondshop.net.
The most exciting jewelry buying opportunity is happening right now at Diamonds Direct. Pick any jewelry item and get up to 5 years special interest financing or take up to $5,000 off right now. Everyone's loving this because you get to design your ring and your payment plan and take advantage of our most flexible options ever. Hurry, this amazing offer ends June 30th. Enjoy financing for up to 5 whole years or get our best ever sales price. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get details, directions, and more at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
If you're looking at new windows for your house, choose wisely. Mark Cox here for my friends at Window World. You want to go with a company you can trust. Ranked #1 in the number of windows sold in the country. That's according to Qualified Remodeler magazine. In just over 20 years in business, they've improved the look and obviously the thermal efficiency of over 70,000 customers in St. Louis. They're going to give you a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts and the glass breakage and the labor. It's a good product. Call them at 314-993-1800 for your free estimate. That's 314-993-1800. Window World won the Good Housekeeping Seal of Approval. That's not easy. They rely on the expertise of their in-house engineers and their analysts and their product experts to give that seal of approval. That should matter to you as well. Call for your free estimate right now. Simply the best for less at Window World. 314-993-1800. windowworld.com.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Today's Annie Frey Show YouTube live chat poll is asking, do you believe in any conspiracy theories? Yes or no? I'm about to deliver those results in just a minute. The time is 2:42. This update is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time
St.
for
Louis is home for
$98
conservative
ACT.
talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Did the polling shift in the aftermath of the Trump indictment? We'll find out and talk about it Monday afternoon.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
You guys are a bunch of conspiracy theorists. We're learning new things to Google. Today's YouTube live chat poll. Do you believe in any conspiracy theories? Yes or no? Go to the Annie Frey YouTube and vote in the live chat poll and let us know if you do. We'll get to those results here in a little bit. The story, the not local. This is a news story. I feel like if on a normal day you're watching Fox News and you see all the political developments, there is a submarine the size of a minivan with 5 people in it. My understanding right now, based on the headlines that I'm seeing as I'm doing the show, is that they have 72 hours of oxygen. And this submarine was to go 2.5 miles down into the ocean to check out the Titanic. A very expensive excursion. And my understanding is that they were lost, like they lost connection or whatever. Do any of you know a lot of details about this? I'll read from a news article, but is there anything you guys have consumed from this so far today?
I just keep looking at it going, if it wasn't searching for the Titanic, we probably wouldn't know about it. But that's all I know.
Well, there's not many other reasons to just take a submarine 2.5 miles down into the ocean.
Am I to understand that it's like a tourist thing? So people pay and then they go get taken out there to see the Titanic?
Is there any part of that excursion that appeals to any of you?
I think it sounds fun. Yeah.
Would you really consider doing that if you had all the money in the world?
I think that I probably would if I could convince my wife to do it.
Never.
Who probably wouldn't do it.
You'd only go with your wife?
Yeah, I don't know that I'd go alone.
Die together?
I'd want to go with somebody I trust.
A rescue mission is underway after a vessel used to take tourists to see the underwater wreck of the Titanic went missing in the Atlantic Ocean on Monday. The U.S. Coast Guard confirmed to Fox News Digital that they were currently searching for a lost Titan submersible. Tourists can charter the small craft for visits to the infamous ship through Ocean Gate Expeditions, which recently announced new mission crews for a North Atlantic trip on social media. The Coast Guard says there are 5 people on board, consisting of 1 crew member and 4, quote, mission specialists. They are currently conducting an air search for the vehicle as it is designed to surface automatically if there are technical issues. We are exploring and mobilizing all options to bring the crew back safely, OceanGate announced in a statement. Our entire focus is on the crew members and the submersible and their families. We are deeply thankful for the extensive assistance we have received from several government agencies and deep-sea companies in our efforts to reestablish contact with the submersible. We are working toward the safe return of the crew members. UK billionaire Hamish Harding is reportedly on board the submersible, according to a Facebook post from his stepson. OGE has not confirmed the identities of anyone on board, however. Harding confirmed he was embarking on the OGE voyage in a post on his own Facebook account on Saturday. The U.S. Coast Guard Northeast has deployed a C-130 aircraft to search for the vehicle on the surface. Rescue Coordination Center Halifax has also deployed a P-8 Orion aircraft, which can drop sonar buoys to search underwater. Other aircraft are en route from both the U.S. and Canada. Although it says Canada.
Canada.
Which maybe is a place.
Underwater.
But I don't know.
It's a different continent.
The Titan submersible is advertised to have enough life support to keep 5 people alive for 96 hours, meaning rescuers still have 72 hours left to find the vehicle unless it suffered catastrophic failure and failed to surface. I cannot think of a more horrific experience. You would not, I mean... No, I don't want to go on boats in the ocean, let alone ones that go under to find the place where the Titanic sunk. I don't understand the payoff for something like that.
Seeing the Titanic to me would be the big draw. It's like, that's really cool, but I am so claustrophobic. There is no way you would get me in one of those submarines.
In my mind, I don't understand the need to see the Titanic on the ocean floor with my own eyes down there.
Oh, I wouldn't say that I need to see it, but I would enjoy, I just would think that the experience of going and seeing a shipwreck in general, let alone a famous one, is just cool. I just think that's a neat thing.
Other shipwrecks you can go see that aren't that deep.
You can
wear scuba
go see
gear
that one. That's fine. I don't care. I think they all sound fun. I want there's a boat. Now this is way off, but there's a boat that was submerged near Kansas City that somebody's going to know the name of, that they've dug back up.
Was it like a riverboat?
It was a riverboat.
Yeah.
And that stuff just fascinates me. The fact that they can recover all this stuff and all the things that are on it.
They didn't just dig that, but they dug it up in the 80s.
Well, it's in an ongoing project.
And there's a museum in Kansas City for it. I just watched something about that. I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
But
and
like
that one you don't even need to go underwater to see.
It was in the middle of the field. Yeah, you can just go to a museum and see it.
You can go see that one, Annie.
Mm-mm.
You just walk through a museum.
Quick Rick says, Annie, you don't even like fish. It's usually in the context of eating them, which I don't. I also do not want to swim next to them at all. No desire.
Would you go snorkeling?
No. Don't think so.
Would you swim?
In a private pool? Yeah.
An infinity pool.
I don't like it. I mean, probably, no. I'm irrationally afraid of things like that. But you know how to not get eaten by a shark?
Don't go where the sharks are.
Yep. That's one of those that I am 100% in control of.
Man, there's a place I went snorkeling at when we were in Hawaii, and you go down and they have mounted a hammerhead shark, and they stuck it to the reef, and they don't tell people it's down there, and you go down there and it's like,
holy heck. Man, my family is planning a trip to Hawaii in 2025. Big planners. And the question is, my husband loves that stuff. Mm-hmm. He wants to do that stuff. I know that I'm holding him back. He's going to have so much fun one day when I die, doing all the things that are fun that like when you see my husband on a motorcycle, rest in peace, Annie, because that will be the day after I die. But he wants to, I told him, celebrate my death by getting yourself a motorcycle.
Then I'll see you soon.
And then, me and Brad will join. It'll be like the movie Wild Hogs.
I should reword this. Celebrate my life. Pass away too. Celebrate my life, not my death. I mean, it'll be up to him, really.
Yeah, you're trying to control him. You're dead.
Hey, I'm not going to be here to know, but check on him and see how happy he looks.
Man, I've never seen a more happy man in my life. What just happened to that guy? Never seen a smiling motorcycle rider.
This is horrible.
It's like ear to ear.
Oh, I'm not a risk taker. I am super. Don't keep the lows low. Don't make the highs high. Just steady as she goes.
That guy just rode that motorcycle right into a submarine.
And now he's going to the Titanic.
He's living an amazing life. Wonder what just happened in his life.
He's taking the motorcycle on the submarine to go see the Titanic while wearing scuba gear. He's really getting it all in there.
And just two fists and lobster tail.
Man, he used to leash that around me. I'm just not very risky. Are you a risk taker?
I don't know. I guess it depends on what.
Can I assess you?
Please.
Do you care?
Please.
I think you're...
it's not going to be positive. I know that.
No, it's just going to be honest.
Oh.
You can
as
take
long
it.
As it's a random, honest
I'm
opinion.
not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be honest with you.
Sure.
You can take it
I mean,
however you
just
want.
you being honest.
Brad, you can back me up or challenge me on this. I think Ryan's a big talker.
Yes, I agree.
Hey, let me tell you a quick story.
Oh, my God.
Let me talk.
We went down to Table Rock Lake for my brother's bachelor party. This is just a couple years ago. So I'm almost 40.
Is that different than Sajay?
He's 8 years younger than me. So all of his friends are in their early 30s, and he is too. And he is fit.
Is anybody
He's like
your
American
age?
Ninja Warrior. No, I'm the oldest
This
guy
is the
there.
worst kind of situation. I've been there.
And so all of them find the biggest cliff they can find. And they're like, we're doing it. You doing it, old man?
And you're like,
And I'm
I'm
like,
sore looking at that.
I'm like, oh, man.
Let me go get my ibuprofen.
I can tell you this. If I don't today, I never will again in the rest of my life. So, yes, I'm going to do it. And then I'm just going to see what happens. And I got up there on that cliff and looked down, and I jumped.
You did? You did?
And I did. And guess who didn't? My American Ninja Warrior brother.
He scared?
He just said I'm not going to do it because he was
like,
playing it safe.
He looked at it, he's like, I can see the rocks down there.
Can I say that I respect you both for your decisions?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Was there any moment between cliff and water where you're like, this was a dumb idea?
Yeah, it was between cliff and water. There was that moment.
It's usually when that last toe leaves the ledge.
I'll tell you what, when I just went to Kentucky to see the Creation Museum, they have a bunch of those
Did you get
bungee
wild at the
things
Creation
there.
Museum?
Me and my son, we bungee jumped off of one of those platforms.
I just want to tell you that my dad just said, my son and I.
Okay. Sorry, Mr. Frey.
That's not my dad.
I know.
But thank you for not.
You're welcome.
Are you a risk taker?
I am a bigger risk taker now than I was before I had my first heart attack.
Why?
The heart attack? I think the heart attack is what did it.
Let me give you just a quick 30 seconds to explain for people who might not know that you've had heart attacks.
So I had a heart attack when I was 27 years old because I was fat. I was really unhealthy with my diet and stuff like that, and I had a blocked
And you're
artery.
39 now.
I'm 39 now. I've had 2 more since then, but all of them have been as a result of the first one. I don't know. I think it's because I have less fear of death now. I mean, I feel like whenever I got that ambulance ride from my house to the hospital, I looked death right in the eye. I really do. I go back and I think about it. I did. And so now stuff that used to scare me about it before doesn't scare me. I don't go out and take I'm not jumping off the cliff at
I was just going to ask you.
But
on the count of 3, go.
But
1, 2.
I never went on
kidding.
roller coasters or anything like that, and I do all that stuff now.
Now he does. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Ridden
and
roller coasters with Brad.
Yeah, and those are mild compared to the ones that I really like.
When we were was it at the airport? What did you tell us that you had with you?
Oh, that's my nitrostat.
Oh, yeah.
He just casually is like, hey, if I'm having a heart attack,
I got it with me right here.
Spray this on my face or something. What did you tell us to do?
2 sprays under my tongue.
I should have.
Nitroglycerin lingual spray.
We're all like, whoa.
Wow, nitroglycerin.
Yeah, he's got it with him.
Yep. And that way, if I start having chest pains, it's supposed to relieve the chest pains. I'm supposed to call 911 and go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Even though I am a risk taker, you know what really scares me, though, is when you go
Running
to the
out of time on the
bathroom
show.
and there's a guy behind the curtain wearing a clown mask with a knife or a chainsaw.
stop.
That just scares the living daylights out of me every single time. Hannah?
The results are. Hannah, do you have anything to say for yourself?
I
You're
got a
so
lot to say
weird.
to that.
You're so strange. People who tune in for the first time are like, why did they let him on the radio?
We're running out of time, Hannah.
All right. Do you believe in any conspiracy theories? Yes or no? With 172 votes, 81% of the people say yes, they do believe in conspiracy theories. 81%.
Does that surprise you guys?
It surprises me that only 19%, I should say, that only 81% said yes. I thought it'd be 90%.
You know those 19%, they're the participants.
Yeah. They're the ones.
They have something that says, we got to make sure they don't believe any of these
lot
things
of new
are true.
government
They're the ones
accounts signing
standing
in
in
the
front of
85
fireworks.
show.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to check out that Joe Rogan interview with RFK Jr. I think it sounds interesting. And Donald Trump is on with Brett Baer tonight on Fox News. Another opportunity for him to weigh in on a lot of these key issues. Stick around. The Mark Reardon Show coming up next.
Be nobody else.
I like the chip I got in
You
my
had a solid
country.
retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering